See. All right, everybody. Welcome to the special live stream with Trevon and Whalesonly. We're just gonna sit here, chop it up, talk shop, talk past, talk present, and just get to know each other a little bit. See where it goes. Just we're gonna start off by saying what's up to everybody in the chat. And thank you for the super chat already. Cash Plus. Appreciate the love, brother. Honestly, appreciate it. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Crypto Panda. Pay Me Hex was good, man. Crypto Games Club. Thank you for always tuning in, man. Crypto Orange. Fatal Fury. Love the name, bro. Feel like I'm playing Tekken and shit. XO Joe, what's up, bro? Mr. Sojourner, shout out to you and the youngin. Hope you guys are doing well. AJ Rip City was good, man. Let's see. Big Bud Wolf. Big Bud Wolf is also good. We like big buds around here. 13 cents is the floor. We're going to 10. Well, we already hit 8, so I think we're covered on that front. Can't really go much lower than that. And as we know, they're trying to play games with the market, right? So we'll get into all of that. Don't worry. That's all going to be part of the conversation. I'm working on some charts for you guys too, because that's part of the conversation too, right? We're going to talk about Hex, of course, because Trey's been in it since I think day one, if I'm not mistaken. 8. All right, but you knew about it before it came out, though, right? Yeah.
I pulled the trigger on day 8.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't a bad day, right? Because that thing came out and it just started dripping after everybody FOMO'd on day one, and people learned the lesson, right? Because market supply is real. But not the fake market supply, the one that's actually sitting on the books, right? Like that's also another thing that people get confused, right? That's why you can have a bonding curve token and have it actually go up in price, because the supply doesn't actually matter. It's what's sitting on the books that matters. But
I gotta focus. Whalesonly, he about to unleash the brain on me. Hold up. Pay attention.
All right, let's slow it down. Let's slow it down. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. I know I go in 100, so let's slow it down. Yeah, we still got people joining. Appreciate that.
You got the math. See, that's the thing. That's the difference. Like, I was actually thinking about this, like, I think yesterday or the day before, whenever I said we was going to do the stream, I said, what is it? What's the difference? You are math. You're very math based. And one thing I just realized about myself, I'm more fundamental, like, and logic. You know what I mean? So you go on the math though. That's why I watch you though, because you the math. You the math.
But the thing is math is logic in essence is math, right? Like you can't have something be true mathematically and it not be logical.
And that goes back to risk and everything.
Exactly, right? Because even when you're looking at a promise coin or whatever it is, right? Fact is that there's always going to be risk there. So the question is, well, what's the risk, right? And that's why, you know, when you're looking at these things, you have to be very aware of what is the market, right? What are the factors driving the market, right? Like what is it? Why is it? Right? Like and that's kind of like the funny thing about Hex and when and I don't know if you saw the stream I was on yesterday, bro, but it was epic. It was epic because it was a hedge fund manager, a dude that's been on Wall Street longer than me.
Oh, yesterday.
Come on. And that cat don't know nothing about a single thing about value. I was so disappointed, bro. I really thought it wasn't gonna be an I hate Richard fest. Like that's all that motherfucker had, man.
I was actually shocked. I was actually shocked about that one.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be, because I'm used to people that don't go on with Richard Hart. I'm used to those people being nice and in it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to see somebody come on a smaller stream and bash him was just like, oh man. So it was really great to see Richard Hart actually, you know, step in there and say, hey man, I'm here. Let's talk about it, you know?
Right.
So it's like it all comes back to risk, you know? So
well, I mean, that just shows, number one, the man ain't hiding. He's willing to talk to anybody
like
at any point in time.
At the end of the day, I'm I started out in crypto and gambling, right? So at the end of the day, I'm always looking at it as a gamble. So I'm, like I'm always looking at what's more likely to happen. That's why I gave it a few days in the beginning, because I had been watching Richard Hart before, because he was talking about Bitcoin. And I liked him because he was entertaining. He would always challenge. I remember because I used to watch Bitcoin. What's the name of that show? It was like Bitcoin World News or Bitcoin Network or something like that. It was one of those news shows. Anybody that in the chat might know. It started off with that guy. He would like, "Welcome to Bitcoin News" or something like that. That's how he started the show. It was hilarious. But it was boring if Richard Hart went on there, because Richard Hart was the one that would challenge his own bags. You know what I'm saying? He would challenge his own bag. So that's why that's where I gained respect for him at. So when Hex came around, I'm like, okay, I've been watching this dude. He doesn't come on YouTube. He's not on YouTube every day, but he seems like a pretty, like, I believe him. He could be faking it, like I said on my stream. He could be in a trailer park like Ricky. He could be in a trailer sitting there in a just like a nice room.
All right,
and it's all fake. That's the risk.
Right.
But it's like, then you look around, it's like, okay, now this dude might really be trying to save the world. So
right.
I'm always on edge. Like I to keep it honest with you, I'm always on edge with it, because it's like you never know. So I just want everybody to know that, like, whether you especially if you're new in Hex, like,
right.
Well, when you're getting anything
for a fact, right? Because what you're saying is true, right? We don't know.
Dips, like it just crashed like 60%. So
right. But here's the thing, right? We have to understand, and what you're saying is valid, right? At all times, because we don't know. We can only go off of previous action, right? And that's really all we can do, right? That's the reality. All we have are the man's actions, and we all know talk is cheap. So I'm good with his actions so far, right? His actions lend credence to what he speaks.
The product. You know what I'm saying? Then I started looking. I'm like, okay, well, the product. So it does what it says it does. It's not like it's not doing what it's designed to do. Like, if you're buying
the
Hex
verbiage
coins,
matches it, right? Like the word matches what it's doing, right? Oddly enough,
right? Yeah, it's a hex. I said it the other day. I said, "Wow, it's a hex."
Because it snatches you.
It puts a hex on you if you don't. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like it's like you don't want to say like buy something, but it's kind of funny how the product name is like. Because I always wonder, like, why do you pick the name Hex? Like, Hex is kind of a bad word. Like,
well, the thing about it is, it's
I figured it was something math.
Yeah, it's something mathematical. It's not about the word hex. And the funny thing about it is
it's funny that happened though.
Yeah, because here's the interesting thing. Because
everyone now has a spell on them who didn't everyone who threw negative energy at it.
Getting it right back.
Hex put a hex on them, and now they're just like, you know what I mean? It's kind of and that's why, being me, I have to, let it be known that this can't be seen. I mean, it can be seen as investing, but it's best if you don't look at it like that. Like, because it's a lot of emotions that go through. Like, I still have my BitConnect coins.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still hollering. I was just looking at the chart of BitConnect. It's 63 cents. Like, so
that's crazy.
It's a lot of like, the coin still exists. Now, is there liquidity for it?
Probably not much, if any.
Probably not much. So then that's what you see everyone's concerned with. But you could, and that's why I like the argument. There's a really good conversation going on right now about Hex's liquidity and Bitcoin's liquidity, because in reality, if Satoshi were to pop up and say, "Hey, I want to sell," he couldn't even sell all of the coins.
Nope.
Just like whoever has all of those Hex coins, they can't sell out. It's the exact same thing. So what is the real argument in it, you know? So, you know, I guess people will try and say it's the way that the coins were distributed, but at the same time, they were minted, you know? So all of the, I don't think any of the coins were, I might be wrong about this, but I'm not sure if any of the coins were pre-mined. So,
no,
I mean, I don't want to get into the legalities of it, but
so
I just don't like how people are not giving it that, not looking at it the same way. Like people just, what it really is people don't like things that they don't have that are going up, and you can't be like that, man. Just ignore it.
Right. That is very true. Right. Because the level
like I just
of
think ties in somebody I respected for this whole since I got into crypto. I was watching Tyson. I stopped watching him lately because he had stopped. I don't know what happened, but I had started following him on Twitter. And it's like slamming Richard Hart, and I'm like, man,
stuff out there for the haters, bro. I mean,
I don't know, like
it's you know, it's rough, bro. I mean, everybody's out here sucking wind because
like people do this. Like it's like certain people can't try to innovate. Like Vitalik is good, it's cool, but anybody say anybody, anyone who's created a cryptocurrency. It's like why
are you mad? Why are you not just working harder?
Why don't they just support them, man? Like it's just, I guess it's the, you know what, it's his personality. I mean, that's what's really what it is, man. Like,
honestly, yeah, a lot of people don't.
He seems like he's trying to change the world since I started following him. So I'm gonna support him, man. You know, I like the coin. You know, I got some.
Right. I mean, it works as designed. It works as intended. Right. It's a very what's the word? It's a very nuanced product, right? Like it's an actual product, right? Like it's actually completed. It is no more playing with the code. That's it, is done. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's it. You know, no promises here. It's designed to do ABC 1, 2, 3, and that's it. You know, and it's either gonna do that or it's not, right? But there's no intermediary, right? They like people don't even know what a freaking security is, but they want to talk about something being a security, which I find hilarious, right? Because people love to talk about shit about what they don't know.
Yeah, right? Like so that guy yesterday it's really frustrating too, because it's not that I'm trying to like fight, but when someone says something that's not true, and like when he started talking about the referral, when he called it a pyramid scheme,
right,
with such confidence, and then imagine, you know, and I'm not saying that I'm disappointed because he might be keeping people from buying Hex. It's more keeping people from making the right choices. So say he has an audience himself. I don't know if he's a YouTuber or whatever, but let's just imagine that he does because he's on video. So he could say it's a pyramid scheme. It has a referral program, blah, 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 blah. But that's not true. You see, now that person it's just like telling lies about a person. Someone says something that's not true about you, and then they believe it and go on thinking that's true about the person when it's not true. It's the same thing for anything. If you don't know, you should say that you don't know, or that you're unsure, or that you're, you know, I just don't like the language that people are using and the energy. Right. I guess it's because the market is going down.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the language is manipulative, right? It's all negative tone, negative base, and it's obvious that they're just salty, man. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Hexicans are the only people literally in crypto having a good time right now. If you own Hex, you're having a good time. That's the only thing that's keeping your portfolio afloat. If you have a portfolio and not just Hex, for example, right? Because I'm one of those people, I don't own anything but Hex because I've been around since day one. I know what the fuck time it is. I can do the math. Like nobody can sit out here telling me what a crypto is. Are you in it for the tech and none of that? Ain't like crypto is not about tech. That's not why it was created. Crypto came about to obfuscate the goddamn fiat system. It's to avoid having to use a dollar because that's the actual problem. The problem with the world is the dollar, not anything else.
It's like you put anything up against the dollar, it's going to go up.
That's
eventually.
It.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's like something digital.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like
And that's why
it's not rocket science. I mean, it kind of is rocket science, but
it's
you can
not,
break it down
bro.
and make it really simple.
It's not rocket
Like
science
you
because
got a thing, and then people don't sell it. It's gonna go up in value. It's as
that's
simple
it.
as that. It
That's
don't
it.
matter what it is.
Nope. It's not.
Anything physical and now digital. If you have something and people don't sell it, it's gonna go up versus the dollar. That's the answer to the question. So that's why Hex goes up, because those whales have a bunch of Hex and they just not selling it.
Nope. Nobody's selling a damn thing.
So it's like, and maybe they will but maybe they will one day. And that's what I want everyone to know, because it's not just Richard Hart that has a lot of Hex. It's a bunch of whales, right? So you never know. But I love Hex as a product. I love, since I started doing my ladder stakes, like what was it, 100 and I started doing like 120-day ladder stakes. I wish I would have done them bigger now, but of course. But I started doing like, I did small stakes, and I just kept making them longer and longer. Now I'm doing like 400-day stakes. So this was my strategy. I said I'm gonna do 3-month stakes or 1-month stakes or something like that, and then every 90 days, every day for 90 days. So in 90 days, I'll be getting a stake every day. And then when I get those 90 days back, I would start doing them for 120. And now I'm doing them for I would start doing for like 360. So now it's kind of starting to spread out a little bit, but I'm trying to get it to where every week I'm having a stake end. And these are stakes that I did a long time ago, but I'm still getting them every week or every day. Like now, I even started doing 15-year stakes every day.
Boom, love it.
Small, but they're like small. It
don't gotta be big when it don't gotta be big.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the beautiful thing.
If
right?
Hex works just like with Bitcoin, you could have did the same thing. If Bitcoin works the way it works, it's probably gonna go up in value. So you could just play the game. Same thing with Hex.
It's that
simple. It's around in 15 years, holy shit.
That's it.
If it's not, then it's not, but it's fun. It's fun. I think it's actually a fun thing to do. That's why I like it so much. It's like, so I started doing 15-year stakes every day. And I'm also doing like 480. I'm in like the 480-day stakes now.
Wow.
And then I'm in like on day 601, I start getting big payday stakes. I start getting like these smaller big payday stakes. It's crazy. So it's fun. It's like I'm not trying to shield the shit. The shit I can't talk about. This is my hobby. I can't.
Right.
I can't. I try to get on. I try to do a video because I was gonna get on at 11. I said, well, let me try and do a video, record a video. I'll edit it afterwards. But I couldn't think of nothing else. I said, well, I talked about, it's not really else to say about post chain. I do have some post chain videos that I do want to do. This one is about a strategy nobody's talking about. Don't ask me. And the other one is something about Hex, probably Hex chart or something like that. But I couldn't think of. I don't want to do them now because it's not. I want to do it closer towards the end of the sacrifice.
Right.
So, but I try to talk about another crypto, or like I was going to do something about altcoin season, because it does look like the altcoin season is starting to ramp up, possibly for a little couple of weeks or months. But I don't care. It's like I started recording it and I'm like, man, I don't even really care about any of the other coins to even talk about them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like in this place where maybe Bitcoin and Ethereum charts, but that's it. I don't really have anything to say about the tech. ETH 2.0, what I'm going to say about that, it's coming. You know what I'm saying? What I'm going to say about Cardano, Cardano. Like, it's not, I don't even want to, even if I was going to talk about Cardano, I wouldn't even upload the video because I don't care about it, So
right.
It's like Hex is dope as a product, man. Yeah.
Hard to
I
say
saw
much
something
else,
that Randy said in the chat. Randy, correct? Slander. Yeah, slander. That's what the word I was looking for.
Yes.
Yeah,
Slander is the operative word. Yeah, because that's what they do, right? Then that's all that they've done. Like anytime they talk about Hex or anything like that, all they're really doing is throwing piss into the wind because they can't back up any of the accusations, right? Any of the statements, they can't back any of them up. Not a single one.
Like, yeah, I even myself try to like look at both sides and try to find something that I don't really like. But I can't really. I mean, if I said, let me sit here and try and think, something that I don't like about Hex. The first thing that comes to mind is the Richard Hart. The fact that if without him in this current stage of Hex, in its infancy, it does need him to a certain extent. I'll be happy when it doesn't. And I think that'll happen. I think that'll be the time when all that liquid Hex is diluted. But like when it's basically diluted, I think that's when it might be, it'll be less dependent on him. That's the one thing I could say I don't like about Hex. But I mean, it is what it is. I like the product, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep playing the game and hope that it goes great.
Right. I mean, it's interesting because I don't really view like Hex needs anybody because it's just something that works no matter what.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it doesn't. Okay, we got a little debate here. So
yeah. I mean, it's interesting, right?
I'm just in this stage, it does. I think it does need him. Well, I wouldn't say it needs him. I would say if he has a lot of pull on it. If Richard Hart disappears off of, you know what I'm saying? If Richard Hart disappears for a month, how is everybody going to be feeling?
Right, I get what you mean.
If we're chopping side, if we're going down, you know what I'm saying? How's everybody going to feel? So that's why I mean when he does have some type of influence, and that's why I just say even because sometimes we get into something and we just tunnel vision, tunnel vision, and that, that's how you get wrecked. Not saying anything bad's gonna happen.
No. You're just making a point. You're just making a point.
I just want everyone, because I see how it was that stream yesterday. It was that stream that kind of triggered me because I kind of saw defense. What it was is when Richard Hart was talking and it was somebody interrupted him. And he was like, I got this. It's like, I don't need to do this. Yeah. It was the extra defense. You know what I'm saying? And that when you're doing that extra defense, it's kind of like, people vibes are real. So energy is like a real thing. So you can read certain stuff on people. So that extra defense was like kind of him saying that he even was kind of like getting shook. He was kind of getting, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of punched out by dude. He didn't have the hands basically. Yeah. So he kind of threw out some extra defense thinking that, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
and that's one way to view it. I think it was
everything, and then you'll relax is what I'm saying. Clear your mind.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel you. I think it was more so the fact that the guy was just not trying to hear, because I had him on the ropes. The whole time I was talking to him, I was getting through to him because I could see it in his face. Because even when I told him that it wasn't a Ponzi, that it wasn't a pyramid, he didn't have a single retort to anything that I was saying. He was just nodding his head because that's all he could do.
I think it's like you can't short it. Like if you could short Hex, I was like, oh, he's definitely shorting Hex.
Oh, for real.
He's trying to get this shit to crash. That's how he's saying. That's what the kind of vibe it was.
He just wants to short it to say he can short it.
Yeah, that's just
when. So let me tell you, when a lot of these Wall Street guys see a chart that they can't believe, that's their initial thought. I gotta find a way to short this, just because they don't understand. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. I worked on that side of the business.
Yeah,
that's where I came in.
By you saying that, I'm like, yeah, you probably been in Wall Street, because that's something that you have to be in there to even know. Like, yeah, if you're in the stocks, and if I'm in Wall Street and I'm looking at charts and stuff, and I see this coin just going up and up and up, I'm like, oh, this shit's gonna eventually go into a deep down.
Exactly. Natural thought. But natural thought.
You don't know, and then you go look it up, and you're like, you seeing all this Hex scam stuff, and then all like if you looking at it from his perspective, of course. Of course, it's a scam if you're looking at it from his perspective, kind of a lot, mostly from the outside looking in, wasn't around. So yeah, so I get exactly what you mean by that. That is interesting.
Yeah, because and let me just elaborate a little bit more on it because it's important. What's happening is that the gentleman, number one, isn't trying to understand, right? That's problem number one. So based on that, I was like, all right, well, let me take this approach, and it was working because the only thing he could revert to was Richard Hart. And it's like, yo, look, I feel you. I understand you don't like him, but here's the thing. It's not, it doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. This shit pays you. Whatever you're just talking like about.
Other coin, Axie Infinity. Like everybody's all on Axie Infinity. Like it's probably just I mean, I can be like Axie Infinity is at all-time highs right now. I'm not buying that shit. I can see why people love it though. It's a game, you know. If people like it, people like it. You know what I'm saying? The shit gonna go up.
But,
you know,
what eventually happens.
You can't be mad. Like. You can't be yelling.
Sure,
unless you can short. So that's what's crazy. It's like, what was he even trying to do then? Maybe he's trying to warn people. Maybe I give him the benefit of doubt. Maybe he really thinks that, and he's trying to warn people. So yeah, take the warning. You know what I mean? That's what I'm. Right. That's the same thing that I'm trying to say is take the warning. But me, I like X. It's dope.
So hold on. Like, let's talk about that because there's a way to warn people, right? The way you just did it is the right way. Right, because you at least gave reasoning, some logic, not just hey, this shit is a scam. Get the fuck out of here, which is what he's doing.
I mean, unless you got to go back to his perspective though, unless you really think that. Like, it's some coins that I've seen before, and I'm like, man, that's a scam, and then it stays around. Like Chainlink, I would say Chainlink is one. I mean, even though that's the first one that came to mind, but. I just know Chainlink as an old coin. Like when I saw it, I didn't say it was a scam. I just dismissed it. The logo was probably trash or something, you know. So
right.
Unless so, but then now look at me. I'm saying, man, it's a scam. Man, it's a scam. Now look at the logo, that you know. And now look at Chainlink.
Yeah, where is it like $20 or something? I don't really know. I don't follow.
I had 150,000 Chainlink, or was it 15? Yeah, I looked at. I saw them all in my wallet, so I have to go look, but I can go back and see. I sold them all. I had like 150,000 or some crazy number, 15,000. Maybe it was 15,000.
It's a lot, bro. Either way, right now, that's a lot, a little bit. So
let me see.
but that's the thing, right? Like we sometimes make these these presumptions without thinking things through, and you know what? That's okay, but you got to realize what you're doing eventually, right? Because that is going to ultimately hit you where it hurts the most, and that's your pocket. If you don't respect your pocket, market's gonna let your ass know. Market don't give a fuck, bro. Right. It really don't, right? And that's like the biggest lesson I've gotten from Wall Street, because let me tell you, I was one of those people that was too smart to the tune that, yeah, I understand why the market should be going down, but guess what? That motherfucker wasn't going down, and it didn't go down for 10 and it still isn't going down. And there's a reason for that, right? So the question then becomes, well, what's the reason? And that's when you got to start putting in the work, because if you're seeing something isn't supposed to be going down and it's only going up, well, then there's a reason for that, right? And you got to try to figure it out so you can make a logical argument. You don't just sit there and talk and shit talk it. Like, that don't make no sense, bro. It's just not a good look. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? What are you saying? You ain't doing or saying nothing, right? So how is that making you money? It's not. Because now you put yourself in a position, in a frame of mind where you're closing yourself off to opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And when you do that, I'm pretty sure you're one happy camper that you didn't close your mind off to Hex, because look at your bank now, right? And that's the thing. It's not even to talk about Hex. It's just about the simple fact that when you open up your mind to opportunity, you don't know what's possible until it happens.
Yeah.
You know, and that's some real talk. And that's something that I even had to learn with time, because the fact of the matter is that unless you got your head clear, you ain't clear up here. You're going to make a lot of bad decisions. And that's, I mean, hell, we see all the emergency end stakes that have been going down lately. Those are a lot of bad decision making.
That's one that, like, I wish I could keep better. I mean, I know the Hex.vision site. That site is got a lot of. It's got a lot going on. Like
that's like a playground.
Stakes, man. I mean, I see them in the Staker app too. I think. But yeah, when they pile on like that, oh man, that's crazy. It makes me regret. Like I really kind of. At the same, I like to see it, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I wish I had more shares.
Right.
Like if I had more like 15-year stakes, man, I wonder what like, because I noticed that the APY on like the longer ones, I noticed this way too late how different the APY is versus staking short and long.
Right.
So like those 15-year ones, they're like 60%. I'm trying to say, I don't have my wallet logged in, but
it's all good. I know exactly what you mean because a lot of people don't get that. And
do you know what it is like off the top, like right now? Like
yeah.
Somebody that's been staked since the whole time, like what the APY is for somebody that's been staked since day one for 15 years. What's their APY at right now?
It should be. I think at this point it should be over 100%. For a 15-year stake, it should be over 100%. Yeah, I've seen APYs over 100%.
Yeah. I think the highest one I've seen is like 60 for me.
Let me see what's my highest one.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like I like to see it, but I'm like, man, and that's why I've seen all these whales that's ending their stakes. They turning around and doing it for the whole 15. Like, oh no, fuck that, and they putting the whole thing for 15 years.
Not fucking around.
Yeah, it's like I want to so bad, but it's like I'm scared, man. Like,
so check this out,
I'm doing small ones. Like I'm just gonna play the satisfied game and just do what I would just old man Trey would just be happy with. You know what I'm saying? Like 15 years from now, you know, my kids will be getting out of high school, so you know. Man, I might want to do some big stakes then.
Kareem got a message for you. He said, "Never too late, Trey. Start your t-shirt preservation now."
You know what I'm saying? Like you think like you'll be old or whatever, but like I thought I'd be old now. I still feel pretty young. So.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly.
I don't want to do some heavier stakes and be balling, be going to Mars or some shit.
All my shits. Look, let me tell you. So I got the only 15-year stakes, and appreciate all the super chats, guys. Honestly, thank you very much.
It's really like a time capsule. That's what. I used to do stuff like that when I was a kid. Bury stuff and try to do time capsules and stuff. Like I like that type of stuff anyway. Time travel and
me too, bro. Me too. I'm into that shit.
100 days ago. That shit is fun. You know what I'm saying? That's all. It's like I'm not trying to pump the shit. I'm just like talking about Hex, bro. Like
it's hard not to.
I want people to. Everybody, humans. I mean, like humans. That's what I want everyone to know. Like, it's everybody ain't shilling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
everyone's not shilling.
Right.
So I have to make that extra clear.
So
for eternity, for the rest of my life.
Right, because here's the thing. Like, if you go to my channel, it's strictly about Hex. But the thing about it is, I'm not really just talking about only Hex.
Yeah,
right?
It's logic.
There's a whole lot of shit. Yeah, it's everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I come to this conclusion that Hex is the best? You know what I'm saying? And I walk everybody through all of that. So nobody can sit there and say this guy's just chilling. Nah, no chill here. Here are the reasons. Have a nice day. Let me know what you got to say. But let me give you the APY I have for this 15-year stake that I made. It's only 10,000 Hex. I made it in day 349. For 15 years, and the all-in APY is 200% right now as of today.
You did
100%
on day 300.
Yeah, 349. Yeah. So
a year ago,
I found Hex on day 330. Yeah,
really?
Bro, I'm late to the game. Oh yeah,
wow, you're late.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not a millionaire after finding a coin and it's 2 years old, then you late.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I was late to the game. When I showed up, it was 0.5 cent. And I was just buying it all the way until November 1st. And that's when I realized what was going on and that was going to be basically the top. And I was like, fuck. All right. So I stopped buying. And then I started learning about the big payday and what it was actually going to be. And that's when I was like, oh, so I got to buy. Yeah. That's when I was like, oh, so I got to really load up after this because I figured it was going to sell off and all of that. And it did. And that's when I really sized up. That's when I went in
like it's
hard.
crazy because it is like a regular crypto, but you kind of gotta treat it differently. It's like its own. It's not. It's just different, man. It's really different.
So
Let's
somebody,
talk to the chat, yo. I see some people asking something.
so yeah, let's talk about this one final thing that I want to talk about before we get to the chat, because somebody asked me what makes Hexacrypto versus Bitcoin, right? Like, why is Hexacrypto and why is Bitcoin not? Basically, it's a question, because I say that all the time. And
I like to hear that too.
Yeah, so it's very simple, right? When we think about now, and my initial reply to the person was read the abstract of Bitcoin's white paper, because that tells you what a crypto is right then and there. You don't actually need me to tell you anything. So when you read that, what you end up realizing is that Satoshi or whoever wrote that ultimately wanted peer-to-peer cash and a store of value. Complete. That's it. Right? With obviously not 15-minute blocks. Like, that wasn't his intention. Like, the dude didn't want what exists now today. What he wanted outside of the staking, right? It didn't exist back then. What he wanted is what Hex is, X the staking functionality. Literally. That's what he wanted. Right? And outside of, and no centralized market, right? Decentralized. Peer-to-peer means decentralized. Hex is strictly decentralized. There is nothing else on the market that's like that. Everything else is literally a promise coin, or it's centralized. Think about it.
So you're saying that Satoshi wanted proof of stake?
No. What I'm saying is that Satoshi wanted peer-to-peer transactions and a store of value, not just proof of work or whatever. Like, that was the solution.
And you're saying that they won't let that go, basically.
Right.
Now.
Well, it's not even that, right? Because they won't change a single thing to the code, right?
Yeah.
Like, they won't speed it up. They won't expand the block sizes. They won't do anything.
They won't change the stuff that he didn't care about.
They won't change anything that would improve the functionality of the system, which is what he cared about. Outside of the fact,
isn't that what you want though? Something that doesn't change?
No. Here's the thing: Bitcoin wasn't complete, right? Like, Bitcoin never actually finished, and then they kept changing.
Are you saying that Bitcoin? So you saying that Bitcoin was never finished?
It wasn't, and it's still not.
I mean, yes, they're still
right. Yeah.
I always looked at Bitcoin as finished, but I guess I never really got that far with Bitcoin as far as the tech, because I didn't. I just got the concept, but I always kind of viewed Bitcoin as complete. Like, but it does have a dev team and people, but they don't change anything really. So it's like it kind of feels complete, but it's like they don't change anything. So
that's just narrative. Right? That's really just narrative. When you sit there and think about it, that's when it's like, oh, well, there really isn't anything going on over there, and all they're doing is talking. They're not really doing anything else. It's like Cardano, right? Like Ada. What are they doing over there?
The Bitcoin community, they kind of irritate me, man. They irritate me. Like, they're very. I mean, and I gotta keep it real. Hex community is starting to remind me of Bitcoin Max, because I look at everything. Well, not even just now, but since I've been in crypto, I try to look at all of them as equal, even Bitcoin, Ethereum. So even though I'm in Hex, I'll still step back and look at it. And Bitcoin the same way. You see me doing, I'll talk junk about Bitcoin.
Yeah, you always gotta check yourself. You always gotta check yourself.
Yeah, so not even protect myself. It's just
no. Check yourself.
Oh, check myself. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, what was I saying?
That the Hex community is. You feel like
Maxi. So
Maxi status.
Yeah, right? Like, I can't remember where I was going with it, but yeah, the Maxi. They don't. Yeah, the Bitcoin Maxis, they annoy me with how unopen-minded they are. So yeah, and then Hex community is kind of like, sometimes it's like I don't want. I'm not even gonna say that because I don't want people to think. But I don't want people to think that Hex community needs to talk about other cryptos. But I just never mind, bro. Never mind, because I'm in a Hex I'm in
Well,
the Hex.
no. Say what you got to say, because here we stick to the facts, man. If you feel
like,
that's reality, you know, people
I
got to
think
know.
that let me say it like this. I think that what hurts Hex at times is the kind of like I feel like this sassy vibe, like it's haters. So much focus on the haters. You know what I'm saying? It's so much focus on the haters that it creates more haters, and it creates people who distance themselves from it. So same thing with Bitcoin. When Bitcoin maxis are Bitcoin is the greatest, Bitcoin is this, it makes you not want to tribalism, like Tobel Roos just said. Tribalism, exactly. Like I don't like that. You know, it makes me want to distance myself. Cardano does it. What's another crypto that does it? Mostly the people that do it the most are Bitcoiners, Ethereum, ETH guys, Hexicans. Not quite, but it's getting to where people are thinking there's nothing better. I mean, as a product, I haven't experienced anything more addicting than Hex.
Right.
And people know that, so you kind of get a little cocky, and that cockiness keeps people from coming and joining the community. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, no, it's some people are turned off by that.
I think Hexicans should be more welcoming. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them are, but I think the Twitter stuff, it's mostly the Twitter stuff. The stuff on Twitter, even me, you kind of see me, I kind of stopped with it a little bit. Like, you kind of, man, y'all stupid because y'all didn't do this. Y'all didn't get in the Hex. Ha ha. Y'all didn't get in the Hex. So they definitely ain't getting in now. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's just some people, right? And you can't control everybody.
Yes, right? That's what I don't like about Bitcoin or any, not even just.
I mean, that's just certain people. Some people are just going to be like that, bro. You can't control that. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about you got to understand, too, and this isn't to make an excuse because I'm from the outside looking in, right? I just got here relative to everybody else. So my whole flow is different, right? I don't really, like, when I'm fucking with trolls, I'm just showing how stupid they are. I don't give a fuck. Like, because at the end of the day, I'm just sticking to the facts, and nothing that they're saying is relevant or true for that matter. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't really buy into all of that, like the whole tribalism thing, you know, and all that. I get it. And I can't disagree with it to a certain extent because certain people are going to, you know, they're going to act based on their feelings. You know what I'm saying? And all of the things that the Hexagon community has been through, like if you've watched some of these streams, bro, that this cat has had to sit through. Wow. Like, I don't know how he still gives these people time. Honestly, like 100,000. I don't know why or how this guy still talks to all these furus because that's what they are. I will never waste my time with half of these. Like, number one, I don't know most of these crypto people. I don't. I'm not looking to know who the hell they are because they're not relevant, because they're not on my level. And that's a fact because they out here getting everybody else wrecked.
See, that's that mentality I'm talking about now.
Bro, facts are facts. You don't got to like it. You just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not out here lying or selling anything to anybody.
Yeah.
So you don't got to like what I'm saying, but you got to deal with it. Because guess what? That's the truth.
I think what I mean is for the best way. So Hex is a product, right? So when you put it like this is how I think, this is how I am moving forward in cryptocurrency in general. iPhone, right? Do I say, like, I just use the iPhone? You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you're not selling.
Unless there comes up an argument where it's like iPhone versus Android, I might get buck about iPhone.
I get what you mean.
You know, it's like, so it's become when
but here's the whole thing though, bro, because I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly what you're trying to say. Like,
be more everybody in Hex has to be more open,
pragmatic. It's really about being pragmatic.
Yeah, it's right? Really hard for me to put it.
I know what you mean, bro. I know what you mean. You're basically trying to say keep an open mind. Like, don't just think.
I want people to be, if you don't want that type of, if you don't want smoke, like if the Hex community wants to argue, then just keep doing that. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing that. Keep bringing the smoke. But don't complain or don't be, you know what I'm saying? Don't be mad when they come and attack is basically what I'm saying. So I don't want the attacks. You know, I'm chilling.
Right,
You know
right,
what I
right.
mean?
Right. I get that. I get that. And again, you know, a lot of it stems from a lot of the stuff that's happened in the past. You know what I mean? And then
Exactly.
and a lot
Especially
of
with me.
it, especially with who?
Me, as far as
Oh,
like how
right.
I am
Right, right, right. But
and how I approach
here's the
crypto.
thing, because it's not even like I don't want
Because
to sit here and
I don't want to talk about it, but I got a lot of people wrecked. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I have to. So if it seems like I'm being paranoid, you know what I'm saying? It's like this. I don't want people to, because people come into crypto very inexperienced.
Sure thing, for
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
even though Hex is dope, it does dip. You
Sure,
know,
of course
so
it dips.
so
Nothing
people
moves
gotta
linearly.
know that. You
Yeah,
know,
nothing
so and
nothing
it's
moves
new people
linearly.
coming
Yeah.
to the channel every day. So
Mhm.
you know, I'm
Yeah.
basically saying, you know what I'm really doing? I'm helping protect y'all.
Right, but you're not
I know
saying
a lot
nothing
of
that's
y'all
not true,
are,
though. That's the
you know what I'm
thing,
saying?
right?
I know a lot of y'all are YouTubers, you know. So
Mhm.
basically Ballot, Brand, Randy, I see some of you guys channels, Corey. So it's really I'm talking to y'all about how you guys should run your channels. That's what I'm not really talking to, you know, the average Joe. You know, I'm talking
Mhm.
to how they should talk about Hex. I'm talking to mostly the content creators.
Right,
Like,
right, right.
make sure that you're talking and telling people the risk. That's what I'm basically the conversation I'm having with you right now when I'm
Sure, sure,
talking
sure.
about like. So it's not like, because I know that it might come off wrong. It's like, why is he talking about that? I'm really
Nah.
talking to you as a content creator. Like,
Right,
make
right.
sure that people know Hex dips. You
Right.
know,
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure I
that's
mention
all
that
I'm
all the
saying. End of
time
story.
because
What's up,
nothing
chat?
nothing is linear, right? And we're
Yeah.
definitely about to get to the chat right now. Nothing is linear, and I talk about that all the time because everything I detail is mathematical and math based only, right? So nothing is linear, right? And I always talk about that because people talk about like like hex correlation to everything else in the market was a big topic for a while, to the point that I even made a whole 3 hour plus stream about it. And I went through how hex is, yes, it correlated at certain points in time, but the fact of the matter is that it's not. And the reason it's not is because the preponderance of the evidence dictates that it's not. So what does that mean? When you're looking at all these data points across time, hex is doing whatever it does independently of the rest of the market. So
Yep.
while it is correlated at certain points in time, what we have to remember is that what's happening is that the price of hex is dictated by market actors because it's decentralized, right? So it's not going to move with the rest of the market. And then on top of that, it's not trading against Bitcoin. It's only really trading against USDC and ETH, right? And then
Yeah.
85% of that is USDC.
But you can look at that chart though. The
Right.
you can
Sure, of
look at those
course.
charts to see what went, but it's always pretty much like I'm looking at Hex versus ETH right now.
Well, we're going to get to them charts. You know, I got a whole deck ready to go because them charts is always the key, right? Because the
Yeah.
charts give you the data, they give you the truth, right? Like people can say what they want about whatever they want, right? But when you stack the data out there, well, Hex is, you know, up there in terms of competition. You don't really just ignore something that's extremely superior just because you want to. Now, if you want to, fine, okay. But when you're supposed to be a decentralized actor, right, and something that's decentralized, like crypto is supposed to be decentralized and it's not. In so many facets, it is not decentralized at all, right? And this is the biggest gripe that Hexicans have as a community as a whole, because it doesn't act that way. Bitcoin is centralized, Cardano is centralized, Chainlink centralized. We can go down the list, right? Even ETH isn't that decentralized. It's getting more centralized by the day, right? So this is all to say that there's a reason Hexicans are so gun-ho with respect to Hex and how it is superior to the rest of the market. And that's honestly because the rest of the market makes themselves inferior. And how is that? And it's by the way that they approach what is the crypto space, right? Like people like to call it the crypto space, and I've been making a big fuss about this lately, but there's no such thing as a crypto space. There's Hex and then there's everything else, which is really a promise coin space. That's a fact. And when we sit here and we look at the facts of what crypto is supposed to be versus what it is, and then we look at what is a crypto versus what isn't, then it's pretty clear where Hex lies and where everything else lies. Because then we already had this conversation. So we're just rehashing it using different words at this point. Right. And that's just what it is. Right. Like again, it's not about emotions. It's not about anything like that. And I understand certain people get like that, but this here person doesn't do that. Right. And I'm usually like one of the biggest voices in the community, luckily. Right. And I say luckily because just like we saw yesterday with that hedge fund manager, he tried to come with his nonsense. And I let everybody else have a piece of him. But when he got to me, he couldn't even say anything because all he had been saying is nonsense. And I wasn't kicking no hex this, hex that shit to him. I was literally speaking his lingo, and there was nothing he can say. Because I've been on the street, bro, for 10 plus years. There's nothing you can tell me that I haven't already heard and that I don't hear every day. You know what I mean? So when somebody is sitting here and kicking the facts to you and they're using nothing but math, and we can clearly see based on this data, which is publicly available on the blockchain, because everything in Hex is on-chain data. Nothing is through an intermediary, thereby making it entirely not a security, for one. And all you got to do is go look up the Howey test if you don't know. Hint, hint. For those that don't know, right? And then everything else that happens on it is entirely between you, the person, the actor, the entity, and the contract. No one else. So when we look at the rest of the space, that's entirely not what the hell is going on. Not at all. You got intermediaries here, fucking third parties there. Like, it's a mess. It's an entire mess, and it's not what it was supposed to be. And I was around for the early Bitcoin days. I've been around since 2010. The only reason my dumb ass sold out, was because I was a dumbass and I didn't understand the internet. I really thought government was going to be able to shut it down. I had been in the military for a little bit already by that point in time, and I knew what time it was. Look at what they're doing now. They already own Bitcoin. People just don't know it. I'm going to show proof. Don't worry, it's coming. And all that's happening, is that people are just believing narratives, bro. You know, it's just like fake news on steroids for crypto. That's really all it is, because at the end of the day, when you go back to 2010, 2011, 2012, 2014 even, you didn't have 1,000, 5,000 coins, right? You didn't have all of these narratives, right, permeating the space, trying to dictate what's real and what's false.
It's crazy. Back when I got in crypto, it was like 1,000 coins, and I thought that was a lot.
Exactly.
Like, wow, 1,000 coins. And it's like the number just keeps getting, that number could be in the millions, you know, like, because you'll always be like, wow, that's a lot. Even the same thing with prices. Like, Bitcoin was at $300-400 when I got it, and I was like, wow, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like, even like all around the space, like there's like this parabolic growth, man. It's gonna be crazy. I think the main areas is, I think the only places really there's gonna be crypto is NFTs and DeFi. I don't think I can't see too many other avenues. That's one I didn't really get into NFTs much. I want to, but I think I'm too old, man.
Nah.
I think if I was in the NFTs, I'd probably like maybe the art, but certain particular art. But then I still wouldn't really, unless I could like display it on my, like if I could display my NFTs behind me, then I'll start buying NFTs. But by then there'll be way too much. But yeah, DeFi, and I think it'll actually calm down, and hopefully it'll be Hex. Hex will be like the blockchain CD. Bitcoin will be the store of value. You know, it'd be really dope if Pulse is the chain. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like seeing where it's going. I just hope that NFTs don't kill DeFi. That's like one of my buds. It's like NFT just takes over and nobody gives a fuck about DeFi.
All right.
Scary thought.
Yeah, I mean, NFTs are interesting space. I don't think the art has an actual future because it's nonsensical. If you think about it,
Yeah, but it's nonsensical if you don't have a way to display it. That's what I think. If you can't display or have some type of vanity way to show it, then they don't really have value. Once I can like put like imagine you on Twitter and under your profile you have like this user owns this one, and you got all the NFTs and you got crypto, and you're like, oh man, let me follow this dude. He got Brett, like that's when I think NFTs will be something. But right now it's just like too much of it. It's way too much. It's so much of it makes it not valuable. Crypto keys was like the height of NFTs because it was the only ones, and then crypto punks, and after a while it just gets kind of diluted.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, right? Because when you think back at what it was supposed to be like crypto's supposed to be internet money. That's it. Right? Like, that's it. Simply and plain, right? So human beings like sit here and we throw all these extras on top of something that was just supposed to be this one little thing. Right. And that's just how human beings are. Right. Now we're talking NFTs. Now we're talking about stores of value. Now we're talking about internet gold. We're talking about the best internet money. Right. Like all those, like the funny thing is like all those terms have different connotations behind them. They don't just mean one thing. Right. And a lot of people get that confused because money is one thing. A store of value is a specific facet of money. Right. Gold is something completely different than money, right? It has more than the money use case, right? And people just interchange these terms like they're just interchangeable and they're not. And that's the bigger issue, right? And that's just, again, vocabulary and how people go about using it, right? Because when you're talking about internet money, that's one thing, right? And anything could be internet money because that's why we have 5,000 coins. Anything could be valuable, right? People have obviously found value in a lot of things. And whatever there's no value in, people are going to let you know that there's no value in it. And the price of the market is going to dictate that entirely, right? And that's how that works. Let's go to the chat because I've been saying we're gonna do it and we never do. Let me
I'm good, bro. I just see like I'm used to reading the chat and like going because it's stuff that like he'll be saying I be wanting to respond to. It's so much stuff. There's a lot of people in there.
Yeah, there is a lot of people in there. Let's see. Let's start from the bottom. Trevon, do you know if you get a copy of our Hex if we're staking it through Hexmax? Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's a good. I wanted to talk about Hexmax anyway, and Hex 2. Like Hex 2 has 500 million or billion. I want to say million. I think Hex 2 has 500 million Hex in it. Do you know if we get a copy of? Yeah. I think so. I would imagine so. When I asked Richard Hart, he said, "You're gonna be okay, bro." That's what he said. That's literally what he said. He said, I mean, not literally, but it's really, really close to that. You're gonna be fine, bro. He was like, it's gonna be okay.
Oh man, he's great.
So, yeah,
he's too funny.
So yeah. So I'm spending punch for about 18 back in time.
So yeah. All right, let's see here.
Everybody talking about, so yeah, anybody got any questions or something?
I sold my Splinterlands collection for 2,800 in Steam back in 2019. Damn. Yeah, I mean, I think the NFT market is going to be its own thing. I don't think there's going to be any way to control that, right? I think people are just going to gravitate to whatever they want to pay for, and nobody can really control that. Like, I literally did a whole stream just about that. Like, value is going to be found where people want to fucking find it. And it doesn't matter what you say, what you do, none of that. Right? Like, if people want to pay $500 for that microphone that you got right in front of you right now, they're going to pay $500 for that microphone, even if it only costs $20. That's a fact. Like, all you got to do is package it the right way, and they're going to pay for it. You know what I mean? And that's it. Let's see.
Donka.
Trevon. Yeah, shout out to Thrilly. I think we follow each other on Twitter. If
Sometimes
we
you look
don't, let
right.
me know because I'm pretty sure I pressed follow, bro. Thanks for
That's
the
what's
shit.
up.
That's what's
Appreciate
up,
the
bro.
love, Billy.
There you go. See,
Somebody asked about validators. Somebody said discuss validators as that's a big concern. About post validators.
Yeah, you want to talk about post for a little bit? Let's talk about post for a little bit.
Sure.
So let's see. Let me get my screen right.
What was the last I saw? 600 and
last I saw was like 623 or something like that. I'm
Yeah.
just getting my screen right so I can share it.
Still 624. Yeah, it's I think it's gonna pick up day what's that? Is it 15 or 16?
Probably 15 or 16 it'll pick up.
Because that's when I think that's when a lot of the smaller because you're gonna guarantee yourself, like if you're gonna go in
1.75x day 6,
yeah.
It's 17, 18, and 19 is the last 3 days.
I think that's when it'll start to
because it's definitely
see
slowed
at the bottom
down.
how they got the performance chart.
What do you mean? At the bottom of post lead?
Yeah.
Oh wow. No, I hadn't noticed this.
Yeah, I think nobody noticed that.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed that.
Because it said scroll down. I was like, they did an update. Yeah, they got the performance chart and
let's go to it.
The hex chart down there. So it shows you how much is coming in each day.
Let's see.
Day 7, day 8. So it's getting like a little downtrend. Day 7, day 8, and day 9.
Pretty much.
And I think it'll pick up again towards the end.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense, right? Prices are lower. People want a higher dollar value after just being at 17, 20 cents.
At the same time, I kind of hope they say I want to hold my position. I'm sliding like I'm sliding down way low.
You already sacrificed?
Yeah, like on the sacrifice list, I'm sliding down way, like I'm nowhere near as high as I was.
Yeah, nah, that was my whole message at the start. Like you can sacrifice early if you want, but it's not gonna matter because ultimately what's gonna guarantee
you're gonna get the only benefit is that you getting the that price.
Right. That's it.
Really the only benefit.
That's it. But what happens if Hex magically does fucking 2x in the last 5 days of this whole thing? Because it like Hex is crazy, man. Like it's designed to do that craziness. Like what was it last week? It did not last week.
I wonder if they're gonna let it do that though. Like, I mean,
they're gonna have to
look at a chart. Like it's like trying to push up against that resistance line for that to try and make like kind of a which that wick kind of ruins, but it's like they're trying to make a bull flag, but that wick kind of ruined it. So I wonder if whales are gonna take it up again and like it's like I'm thinking about risk. Like what's more likely to happen? Are they gonna let it go up and let people? I mean, I don't know if they let it or if people start buying it. Really, if people start buying it, are we to think about? I need to think about if whales are gonna let it go up. If people start buying it, are they gonna sell and try and push it down to save their position and then finally let it go afterwards?
That would be the idea.
I've seen that on V3. I seen all that bid support too, but it's at 4 cents.
It's at 5 cents. 5 cents. 4 to 5. 4 to 5.
Okay, we'll call it 5. We'll call it 4. So 4. No, call it 5. So
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's 4 to 5. That's all I was.
It might have been 5 cents. I don't really remember, but it's a lot of bid support down there. So I'm just. Like I said, I'm not gonna sacrifice any more Hex unless it's going up. If it goes down, I'm gonna just be satisfied with what I sacrificed so far. That's how I'm playing it now. Well, I just get a strategy. The one idea I had is I think nobody's thinking about is afterwards. One of the probably the best strategies could be and safest is to just wait until this is over, because I think what's going to happen, these whales they're going to get even cheaper because they're getting them for like these top accounts, they're gonna get the isn't it 2.5?
Yeah, 2.5x.
So the price of them, there's probably guaranteed to be some. I don't know if it's gonna pump or dump first, but there's gonna be some type of dump eventually. So the safest bet might be to just miss out on being an early sacrificer and having that badge, because that's what you got. If you got a badge,
right?
What's it got? What's it cost to be a top 1,000? You got a $72,000 badge that says I sacrificed for my pulse. You know, so for the smaller, you know, that's what I'm talking to. The smaller players,
top 100 to 750,000.
People that are asking, you might want to try and catch a dip if you want to play it really safe. You know, so. But
for sure.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much past. If you're a whale, it's not past, but you're not gonna get that day 1 through 5. So yeah, that's what I be thinking about different strategies all the time. I'm looking at this leaderboard. I'm like, what are the different scenarios? Because we've all thought about the great scenario, the perfect scenario is Hex starts pumping towards the end of the sacrifice, and all of the Hex people get to, but then this is just gonna be bigger. It's gonna be even harder to climb. So you kind of don't even, if you're rooting for Pulse, you kind of want Hex to kind of go down so all those Hex guys can't jump up this leaderboard, because these are Hexicans. Like, for sure, all these are Hexicans. You know, so if Hex starts going up and you're not in Hex, and you're not in Hex, then you're gonna slide down even further unless the whole market starts pumping or something.
Right.
So, yeah.
When that PLS bridge is when it's gonna be like a little after the chain goes live. Richard said probably.
What I think the scenario is Hex goes down the rest of the sacrifice and then pumps afterwards. That's what I think. That's like the greatest. That's for me. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is it was all a scam. But besides that, worst case scenario is, to me, Hex starts going up during the sacrifice, because I want to be up on the leaderboard on Pulse, and I don't want Hex to go up because I haven't sacrificed. Well, if it goes up, then I'm gonna sacrifice Hex, and I'll probably be bumped up myself. So
you see, like that's my point. Bro. You can't lose.
You know what'll probably happen is if Hex goes up, I'll probably will slide because I'm not gonna be willing to sacrifice as much Hex as some other guy. You know,
yeah, because that's another question.
Hex, you know,
that's another question. Yeah, how much Hex do you really want to sacrifice?
Yeah,
you know,
like,
this is
that's why I say it's got to go to like 50 cents,
right?
You know, because I like
nice.
My Hex position,
right?
That'd be crazy. I mean, wouldn't say the same thing about 10 cents, you know?
Right,
like,
right.
It's like you don't spend it anyway, so
no, you don't. You just enjoy the show.
Yeah. It's for fun, you know what I'm saying? It's for the numbers. It's like that's what I want people to realize is, guys, when you in the beginning, it's about money, but after you get to like, I can't remember what the dollar amount is, but there's a certain dollar amount where unless you're trying to take over the world, it doesn't really matter. Like
right.
You're gonna still be chilling at home. You're gonna be playing the same video games. You're gonna be eating. You might up your lifestyle a little bit, but food doesn't get but so expensive. You see what I'm saying? That's the best example. The cars get more expensive, but cars don't get but so expensive too. You know? So it's like at a certain point,
there's an upper bound.
You just doing it for the fun and just for the glory. You know, that's what it really comes down to. And that's what I'm betting on Richard Hart. I'm betting that this is just all for glory to say, yo, I got $1 billion crypto.
Correct.
What's up? And y'all trying to hide it. That's what I'm betting on.
Correct. That's what I'm betting on too. I mean, he has
I think it's a dope product, and I think he's not gonna shut up about it.
Yeah. I mean, it is, right?
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's crazy. I think, and that's why I go back to the dependency thing. It's like, I don't think Hex. I'm gonna ask you. Do you think Hex would have worked if it wasn't for if there was just a Hex product? This is a scary question. If Hex was just a product by itself, somebody else would Do you think it will perform the way it performs?
I think
That's
the
a
way
real
it
talk question right there.
performs, yeah, that's a good question. I think I honestly think that it performs the way it does. A lot of a big reason is because people understand what it does. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the
Yeah.
chicken and the egg, kind of.
Yeah.
Because when I talk to people back in the day, they're like, "Man, if only we would have known what we know now." That's the common thread for most people that I talk to about Hex that are like real OGs. I've been around since like day one or like day 8, like you, right? Just early. Because they didn't know, like they didn't understand all the math like they understand it now. Like now they're like, holy fuck, I fucked up. Right? Because they wish they would have stayed different or whatever this case
Yeah.
is. They wish they would have bought more or whatever. So I'm not so sure that it would be much different as long as the people had the information to help them make the right decision, because that's the biggest denominator, right? I don't even think it's Richard Hart. I just think it's the fact that, because even Richard Hart was educated by Hex over time. Even he didn't really understand it after he made it. It was really only after, and you hear this in a lot of the streams that he does. He's like, because when I first joined, that's how I started to really like understand like what Hex was supposed to be doing, because he says things in a weird way that's not entirely clear unless you're like adept to what he's trying to say, right? So you got to sit there and think about what this man is trying to say and figure it out and all this stuff. So the biggest thing that stood out in my mind is that he would always say that Hex is like Bitcoin, and I could not understand why in the hell he would say that, because when I looked at the chart, that's not what I saw. To me, it was moving faster, and to me that was obvious, but nobody else was really saying that. And then like what prompted me, interestingly enough, let me see if I find this tweet. Because it's topical, because this is what prompted me to start even making a video, because it was a specific chart that I saw that really I was like, yo, why does nobody see this? You know, like what is wrong with me? Why am I the only person seeing this? And it's just a simple fact that Hex was moving like Bitcoin and moving like Ethereum, but only faster. But I really just like I just didn't know why it wasn't obvious to other people. And then I don't know if you know this guy I stream with all the time, Access Alive. He's a pretty smart dude. He had made this chart a while back, and let me find it because I really want you to see it, because you're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about. Boom, here it is. This chart, right? Like if you look at this
Oh,
chart,
that's it.
you can see how similar they are, right? And this is basically what prompted me to start making all these crazy charts that I'm about to show you. So you can see like this shit here is not a game. Like they were just playing around back here. This shit here is not a game. Like this is like final boss form for real, because the math doesn't lie, right? And that's the biggest thing with Hex that you see versus Ethereum. Like Ethereum, for example, is really the most solid example to that we have for reference now, because it's the most solid data set that we have to compare Hex to, right? Because even Bitcoin, and I mean in terms of age, because I'm comparing everything in terms of age and how it's performing, because that's how we know if something's really superior. How is it functioning out of the gate, right? Because when people look at Michael Jordan and they look at LeBron, they're not looking at the total sum. They're looking at them at that point in time in their respective careers most of the time, right? So I'm looking at Ethereum, I'm looking at Hex, I'm looking at Bitcoin with respect to their age, right? Like we know Bitcoin wasn't really trading like that until really 2011. So all of the price points we have here are very funky, right? So I don't really track it like that. So the data you see is gonna reflect that. But Ethereum, when it came out, it was pretty much traded, you know, instantly, because the market was already pretty old. You had a few more than just Litecoin and Bitcoin at the time. You had Ripple, you had XLM, yeah, you had more coins. You had the pot coin, you had a bunch of different coins. So you know it was more mature then. It made more sense, right? So you have more liquid of a market then, so you have clearer transactions. So at this point, what we're seeing now is something that's totally decentralized. It's never traded on a centralized exchange. Like 99% of the volume on this thing is dexes. So it's literally people or bots wanting to buy or sell hex. You see what I'm saying? So it's completely different, right? Just from that perspective. And like just this chart alone, bro, is what prompted me to do all of these crazy charts. Let me bring that thing up just to get it going. Let me get my work shit situated so motherfuckers ain't beasting on me. Give me a second. All right. So a little disclaimer I always like to throw out there. There's information displayed in this broadcast is known to cause increased amounts of FOMO. Whalesonly and Trevon are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having puny baby hands. Press 5555 accordingly if you want outsized gains. And if you do sell hex, please don't forget this is what you will ultimately become, because there's always a bid here. And in fact, we can now even reference the data point to prove it. Give me 1 second. Where is it? Boom. Yeah. Right? Literally. Everything to the right of this pink line is going to be a buy order. Everything to the left is going to be a sell order. So even if they do try to push hex to zero, good luck. Because you're going
to have to, like, now, this is why I'm here. I'm here to play devil's advocate.
Right. No, but we need that, right? Bid orders. we need that though, right? Because when you're at the top, it's hard to stay there, right? It's easy to get knocked off, and the only way to stay on is by keeping yourself honest, right? That's why. Go ahead.
I think the best thing that people can prepare for, the Hexicans can prepare for one, this is not saying sell your damn hex. That's not saying that. I am preparing. I'm not selling any hex. If anything, I'm sacrificing it. I am preparing for hex to go down. But what I think will happen is it needs to go down for, doesn't need to, but it would be nice if it went down so people could get some. So people could not be so antagonistic against it. Even myself, I'm being antagonistic because I'm looking at that chart. I'm like, man,
I want some more.
I can't even really get excited because it's going like it needs to cool off. So what I would like to see is it go. Well, I wouldn't like to see it, but I would like to see it form a bottom, and that bid support is a very good indicator of where it would likely stall out at. If it starts to curve and make a more rounded bottom. I mean, 4 cents is really low, but that would scare the shit out of me. So it's like 5 cents or wherever it's at. Can you look and see where it's at right now? What is it at actually?
Let's go to it right now. Give me a second.
I can pull it up myself. Let's see.
I mean, I got some bad news for you, but it's all good.
What's the bad news?
13.5 cents.
Good news.
The bad news is that I think you're not going to get your wish because I'm that. Hold on, well, it's a wish for me, bro. I'm the biggest bear in hex. I always want the price to go down. Straight up.
It's like,
ask anybody.
I don't like seeing it go down. Seeing it go down. But it's like when I see it going down, I can get excited about it going up again. And that's
I like it going down because I get to buy more at cheap prices.
Yeah, because you day 300.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I understand why you like it going down.
Yeah, exactly, bro. I've been waiting for that thing to go down for the longest time, and that shit just ain't happening, man. That shit ain't happening. It ain't designed to go down.
It goes down, but it doesn't like that. Like, that's the thing that I've noticed about Hex too. Is like,
don't stay down.
I always get bearish at the right times. But I'm always wrong about how low it's gonna go.
Exactly.
I always think it's gonna even some of these. I can't remember exactly where it was, but there have been a couple pullbacks in this recent one where I was like, all right, it's gonna pull back lower now, and then I'll get some, and then it's gonna curve. But it goes down there and it goes right back up. So I might start putting some bids myself on this V3 because the dips even that 7 cents right there, like, man, that would have been nice, even just for the sacrifice. That's double from the bottom, right? Pretty
right.
much, So that would have been a nice little sacrifice if I would have just been smart enough to even have a bid that low,
Right.
So it's a game, man. It's a game for sure. But yeah, I ain't gonna interrupt you no more. Let me try and find
you
that.
good, bro. You good. You good. I got somebody that wants to join. I hope you don't mind.
Here it is. Liquidity.
My boy Axis wants to join. I hope you don't mind. He's a big fan.
Okay.
So he wants to chop it up with you as well.
Yeah, it's 5.3 cents. That's exactly where it's at.
Yep. And yeah, this is actually a true story from my boy Marcos out here. I was I've been hoping for Hex to go down for a long time, man, and that shit just don't happen. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. I mean, it was a big joke for a while, to the point where people will just know, right? And it's crazy because it's not coming, man. I'm sorry, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it's literally not designed to do that. It's literally not. And these charts, like you're gonna see, we're gonna get
show me how it's not designed to go back.
We're gonna get to it because look, I had to figure it out, right? Because just like you, I spent months. Well, maybe you didn't spend months, but I spent months trying to figure out where the holes were in this thing because I just couldn't believe it was as good as it is. Right. And that's like the biggest thing. So let me just get into this. Right. So I always like to start off with discussing what an economy is. And this literally applies to anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter where you are. When the government is outsized, right, when it's taking too much of the private sector's value, what happens is you get a degradation in the quality of life across the board. Right. And this typically applies to the at least the bottom 80%. Right. And the reason is because an economy, no matter whether municipal or global, is always up high. Right. And what's happening is that while value is being created, we're being forced to give value back to entities that are supposed to, right, the public bucket of the economy. You got two buckets. You got the private and then you got the bucket. Right. The private sector creates the value while the public sector facilitates civilization, so to speak. Right. That's what's supposed to be happening here. What's going on, Axis? How you doing, brother?
Yo, what's up, guys?
Doing well, man.
Can you hear me?
Well. Yeah, we hear you just fine, man.
You hear me?
Yeah, we hear you just fine, bro. We hear you just fine.
Hold on 1 second. I think I screwed this up.
We hear you fine, bro. I think you don't hear us. Yeah. All right. So what happens is that you got the private and the public. The public is extracting value from the value creators, right? And they're not actually creating any value. They're just basically taking. And that's the biggest issue, right? So what ends up happening over time is that given that the economies are based on fiat currency, the fiat becomes valueless, which thereby forces them to need more in taxes, right? And that's what ultimately happens, right? We get a bigger government, right? And we're seeing that worldwide, no matter where you're at. And that's just the bigger issue, right? And this is why I always go over what an economy is doing or what an economy is and how it's supposed to function, right? If you have the private sector creating value and the public sector is straight taking, then you're always losing, right? Because you damn well know those tax dollars aren't going where they're supposed to go. Don't sit here and tell me you think so, because I'm not seeing it. All right, now this chart is the market cap dominance of Hex versus Direct. And this is the top 100 coins from the best source in decentralized data, which is nomics.com. And this data point is as of the 20th of July, about 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Hex was at 5.87%. On the 21st, approximately 24 hours later, 6.11%. On the 22nd, which yesterday morning, 5.81%, and now it's at 5.66% midday. And again, the rest of the space is doing what it's supposed to do, right? And Hex is doing what it's designed to do. And that's what it's. Yeah, we hear you, man.
All right, good. What's up, Trey, brother? I huge fan. Love your content, man. Love your energy.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, I've been listening to you guys talk for a while. Thanks for the shout out earlier, Wales.
For sure, bro.
don't want to interject too much here while you're running the charts, but yeah, after this we could probably talk about some T-shares or something.
For sure.
All right.
So the whole point of this chart, Trey, is just to show. So when I first created this chart, Hex was actually at 3.1% of the top 100 in terms of market cap. So right now we're at 5.6. We've been as high as 7.1%. So the whole point is Hex is going to do the inverse Pac-Man, right? That's what this chart's about. We ultimately want to see Hex keep growing, be a bigger piece of the pie, because we all know market cap doesn't really matter, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah. It's
I
good
got you on.
It's a good billboard.
It's funny.
Got you on the time, brother. We're gonna zip through this. So this is just, you know what I mean? This is just what it is, right? So this is the chart I was talking about earlier, the first 585 days of yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hex, and T-shares too. I got T-shares thrown on there.
So let me see this. Let's see BTC index, ETH index, Hex index. It is. Yeah, man, some T-shares.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like it's like a sick joke.
Yes.
It really is.
It's crazy. It's like a sick joke.
And this is my point, bro. It's like, how could you not be like, get the F out of here? What is wrong with you? Look at the data. Like, it's all in your face, right? So what this chart is showing is just the first 585 days of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hex, along with T-shares, and how the performance has been over that period of time, right? So for Bitcoin, we know it didn't really trade the right way for the first 500 plus days or whatever, right? Until that pizza transaction, it didn't really go live on its network. Everything before that was really just dev transactions, right? They were really just playing with the network before 2011. After that is when it was it 2011? Yeah, 2011. After that is when it really went full throttle. Or 2010, sorry. That's when the pizza transaction was. May 2010.
Yeah, when did Mount Gox open, do you know?
2013, I think it was.
So where was it traded before that?
Liberty was one of the big places. Most people don't even know what Liberty is.
So I want to know, like I see T-shirts index and Hex index are performing very similar, but I don't think this is showing how the index for the Hex from the T-shares. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we'll get into it. Don't worry.
Okay.
I got it covered.
Go ahead. My bad.
You good.
It's all good. Interesting relationship though that they have ever since the big payday, where they kind of like separated from each other.
Right at the big payday.
So we've hypothesized that as more stakes end, that they could separate further because they'd cause more people to end stake and sell off the price.
Right, which is what we've been seeing.
You'd get your dip, but this is what gets interesting is it's going to take so much upward momentum and such a high price to be strong enough to break that lower regression band on this exponential curve that we're on, that it's building. So it's like, because it's correlated one to one with T-shares, which only go up, Hex USD can only go up until a point, right? Until this like massive run up, but we're not even close.
Yeah, we're just getting started. Not even
close.
Yeah. So Trey, when did you find Bitcoin?
2015 at the end.
Wow, 2015. Wow. So all right. So back in the day, like during this time, there was no real clear picture of what it was going to be, right? Like nobody knew, right, at all. Yeah, that's why cats had no problem selling at 10, 11 cents, $1, whatever, right? Because nobody thought 60K, 65, whatever it was, right? Nobody thought that, right? Nobody thought that. But okay, Coinbase was around in 2012. That's true. I forgot about that. But nobody really wanted to use Coinbase because that was completely not the purpose of that. So all right, this chart is showing the first the Hex post big payday. 247 days is the number of days we've had post big payday so far, and Hex is the pink line. And what you're looking at with the orange, blue, and green lines are the first Bitcoin halving, or the performance of Bitcoin after the first halving, the performance of Bitcoin after the second and the third, right? So Hex is dusting them all. Easy.
Let me tell you something I thought about a couple of weeks ago. Hex kind of has halvings, and they're every 15 years, because every 15 years there's I'm gonna go out on a limb and say in 15 years there's gonna be that first wave of those first 15-year stakes ending. And I think every 15 years after that, there's going to be some type of effect on the market, with Hex coming in or going and being restaked. So hopefully I'm around, but I would love to see a chart of like 30 years from now, showing what the first 15 years, the second 15 years, and how things. I think it'll have.
Dude, I think you're right, but I think your halving is going to come a little earlier, because like there's that huge bunch of stakes coming out in 10 years.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah,
like so that'll be your
every 10. Yeah,
yeah. Well,
because 10 is a better, more likely number for most people. 10 years.
Trey, imagine if like a big whale came in here and just put 10 times that many dollars worth of stakes out at 15 years, and your hypothesis became true, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then what if that just exponentially ramped up because the system kept accruing value over time? So you actually saw an increase in the number of stakes over time, forever. Yeah. Maybe what you see here hasn't even started. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. That's what I think, actually.
Oh yeah, I think if it is what it is, it's just getting started. It's a long process, because it has a 15-year max span. So it's gonna be a long thing played out over time. It's funny that it's like almost the exact. If it would have been 10 years was the max, it would have been the perfect launch time to measure it versus Bitcoin, because Bitcoin was pretty much exactly 10 years
at the time, right?
A little bit over 10 years. No,
a year over 10, I think.
Yeah, so it'd have been really cool. So yeah, even though it's 15, like you said, every 10 years it's gonna be. I think it's going to be some mass like.
So here's what's cool about Hex, because you're right. It does have a lot of halvings, right? But the cool thing is it has a halving every time a stake ends. That's why it's always pricing up and to the right. Every time a stake ends, that's literally the same effect of a halving on Bitcoin, because what's happening is you're getting the system to reprice based on the new quantity of coins that were created by the inflation that was deferred from time, whatever, T, right, to time T plus K, which is now, right? And let me not get too mathy. Hold on. All right, so let's talk about T-shares versus Ethereum, which is the pink line, and T-shares versus Bitcoin. Now, this is the dollar value as a percentage, right? So right now, the T-share is worth like 2,500, and Bitcoin is worth what, 32,000 at the time, 32,500, and ETH is like 2,000, a little bit above it at the time. So T-shares have come a long way, because back in the day they were 60 cents. I'm pretty sure you remember them days. Yeah. Yeah. Because now we're talking about 4 figures, and that's crypto. It's value being defined by transactions, right? It's not being manipulated. It's being set by the market, by time, by design, right? Like it's supposed to be math and code. It's not supposed to be marketing and all of this other funky stuff. It's not. That's why when I view crypto and I talk about it, I don't never even talk about Richard Hart. He's not really relevant to the equation at all, because at the end of the day, once you cut it down, it works, and that's all that matters. That's it, right? When you put your money in, you're pulling your money out. It doesn't matter what Richard Hart does. He could disappear now. It doesn't change anything, except for that pulsing launch.
You put your hex in, you get your hex out.
Right.
The value is
another question.
The variable.
Right. Is another question. That's right. That's right. But the thing is, if the system is designed to function and it functions properly, why wouldn't the value be a positive increasing value over time? Because humans are going to place value where there is value to be gained, right? And that's just that's very basic, right? Even if it's an NFT, they're going to place value there, and that's just what it is, because they think that there's value to be gained. And that's all, right? It could be anything, that's keeping it real. It could literally be anything. That's why there are thousands of coins, because there can be. Otherwise, there wouldn't be.
T-share T-share rate look like it's about to. I mean, it does do that a couple times though, but it looks like that's just about to rip.
Yeah.
but it does it a couple times though. And I noticed that APY, like the other day, it looked like it wanted to go on an uptrend too, but it's calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, so that's a function of the staking in the system, right?
Yeah,
so,
I think that APY gonna ramp up in a couple of years when people start losing wallets and stuff, and their stakes start bleeding. I think that's gonna start to keep up with them keys.
Yeah,
Because if you keep up, those that keep up with theirs gonna probably get a lot of excess from that bleeding, yo.
Mm-hmm.
So
because that also does.
It's gonna be entertaining the entire time. Like it's gonna be always something entertaining to watch. As far as stats go.
Yeah, because that's the thing, right? We don't really know what. Why is this thing acting funky? We don't really know what the penalties are ever going to be, right? Like that's the biggest variable in the system because we don't see them until they hit.
Mm-hmm.
Like the bleeds, like the good accounting bleeds and stuff like that, or whatever, right? Whatever's just sitting out there. If it's not good accounting, I mean, whatever's just sitting out there and diluting the share system, it after 2 weeks' time, it starts losing value to the rate of 1% a week. So over 100 weeks, that does bleed out to stakers. So that is a fact.
So yeah, that's gonna happen. That's gonna. There's no way to track that.
Right.
There isn't. I'm asking.
Nah.
Man,
there isn't.
I would love to see that.
You would have to go see track the stakes that are like past due. And you would have to like that's a manual process. You would have to like create some type of AI to track all of that down.
Somebody can do it.
Yeah, somebody. I ain't got them kind of skills.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking about like somebody from maybe X Vision or something. They probably could do it.
Yeah, they could probably get away with it. Yeah, for sure. So this chart, let's talk about this chart because this chart is pretty cool. This chart is the dollar cost of a T-share, which as of the crossover last night is $2,510.36. And then the dollar cost of 10,000 hex, which was $1,344.24. And this is where this T-share rate comes from. $18,674.91 because the T-share rate is literally the division of the dollar cost of a T-share by the dollar cost of 10,000 hex. So this value here is really a forward indicator because as we know, the T-share rate in the system right now is actually 18,292 or something like that, 295. It's not this number, it's lower. So this is how we determine that this is a leading indicator because this is a true determination of price at a certain point in time, right? I mean, now it's a little bit higher, but you get the point. Over time, this is going to change, right? And this is going to change with demand, right? And that's it. That's a funny thing. Like T-shares only exist if they're created. You can't really sell T-shares, right? They only get destroyed from out of the system. Like they get erased from the system. So you can't essentially sell them, not yet anywhere. But even after the stake is done, that's the only time they stop existing. Until that point, they exist, right? So T-shares are forever to a degree until the end of the stake. And the APY, right? So the APY is a function of the percentage of the people staked into the system plus the penalties that we get from people emergency end staking and not ending stakes on time. Right. And that's why for this one day, it was 62.5% because we had like 100 million hex daily payout or 128 million, I think it was hex paid out. But we'll get to that chart because it's been crazy, bro, with the emergency instincts. As you've seen, they've been like over 6 for like a whole 2 weeks almost. It's been crazy for a while. So this chart is a payout per T-share sum index line, which is the orange line. And then the hex index, which is just tracking the performance of price. And the cool thing about this chart is that it's showing us how hex is tracking the value proposition, which is a T-share, right? Because a T-share is meant to pay you out. It's not meant to do anything else. You buy hex, you stake it, and you're swapping those hex that you stake because you're burning those hex once you stake them for a T-share, right? And that T-share is supposed to do one thing and one thing only, and that's pay you in hex every day at crossover. That's it. It's supposed to mimic compounding, and it's supposed to pay you every day. And it does both flawlessly. And this line is detailing how it pays you every day. So if you've been staked since day one, you've received 2,406.5 hex per T-share. since day one. Now, you asked earlier about what that looks like in percentage terms. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I don't think you are.
Give it to me.
It's
I
sick,
see this.
bro.
I know exactly. I'm like, yeah, that's how much. Yeah,
It's
that's
sick, bro.
That's 2,000. So 2,000. So you saying up to this time per T-shirt you've earned 2,000 X.
2,400 hex.
Okay.
And in percentage terms, it becomes 218,092 because since it's
Plus
an index
the price.
plus the price. That's right. So
That's
it's 300. It's almost.
I'm over here like Kareem. I'm just shaking my head like this is crazy, man. Now I see like he be shaking his head like this.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like it's just not even. That's not even.
Itself, man. It's functioning. It's working. The value is literally infinite as far as I can see.
Right.
Because it will continue to give these high payouts as long as you're going longer than the average stake length of 5.8 years.
That's what the chart doing, like that Richard Hartman.
Yup. That's right. Yep. Now you know where it comes
like
from.
it's going
Straight
like
up.
up.
Not
It's
a
like
joke.
no expectations, but it even right here, I can't point to it, but like right at like that 1,200 line, you see it starting to take another ramp up a little bit.
Yeah. It's kinking up. It's kinking up.
Yeah,
I see what you mean.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah,
Makes
man.
you want to stake for 5.
Man, look, my duration is 14.6 years, bro. Nothing less.
Mine way too low. Mine is like 3. It was real bad early because I was playing so cautious.
Right.
It's getting longer though.
Oh, I bet, bro. I bet. Oh shit, hold on. All right. Had to save the work scenario. Give me a second here.
Save the world.
Yeah. So this yellow line is the payout per T-share index, and all it's saying is that the payout per T-share has increased 5x since inception. And that's just a system building value over time, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't consistently do it. And this yellow line is letting you know it's consistently doing it every day. This is just a big payday dip right here. This is pink line is a daily payout index, and this is just a systemic quantity of hex paid out by the system every day. And as you know, it typically averages 60 million or more. But in percentage terms, that ends up being 17,000%, 17,200. So this is an index, right? So in order to get the percent, you would just subtract 100 because every index starts at 100 for the base. So in order to get the return number, you would just subtract 100 from the 17,217, which will give you 17,117, and voila, there's your return number. So you're into crypto way harder than me. What yield farming system has generated that level of return consistently over time?
Oh man, you really want to know that?
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you. Toucanaire.com still has 120% APY this whole time. But I mean, it's like it's inflating. So
is that because less users?
There's no lock up on it. So it's like the price isn't really going down, but isn't Toucanaire has 120% APY.
That's pretty sick,
it's just
bro.
Sitting there doing it too. But yeah, to answer your question, not many though. It's with the price rise and stuff. No, I would say Cake is a close. Because it had a huge run up, but it's been going down. So
didn't that get hacked?
It's like 98% now.
Didn't Cake get hacked though?
Say it again.
Didn't Cake get hacked though?
Cake? I don't think Cake. I don't. If it did, I don't know. I didn't know.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it did. Isn't that, you talking about Pancake, right?
Yeah, Pancake swap.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that shit did get hacked. Yeah.
What got hacked?
Pancake.
I mean, what got hacked? Like the liquidity pools?
I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure something happened.
Never heard of
check Richard Hart's massive tweet list.
That long, that 1,000 tweet thread.
Yeah,
crazy.
He's been going hard on that one. I think
it just keeps going,
like
the Energizer Bunny.
Every day too. Every day is some new shit. It's wild. It's real wild. So this chart is a Hex Payout Metrics chart.
Bunny. Somebody said in chat it was Bunny that got exploited.
Bunny. Okay.
I get them mixed up too.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Pancake got exploited, but whatever, man. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I don't own this shit anyway. So this chart is letting us know the pink line payout per T-share, what the most recent payout per T-share was, 5.833. And as you can see here, this is basically 6. This is the right-hand scale for the payout per T-share. So at 6, it's basically been hovering around there for a pretty while, right? So I got a chart detailing the average payout per T-share over periods of time. We'll get to that one. The yellow line is a daily payout, and yesterday was 63.819 million hex. And here we're looking at the total T-shares, and right now it's 10.94 million trillion shares. And this is the everybody gets paid chart in days. And what we're looking at here is this pink line is the price of hex. I didn't really fix that one. I got to fix that. It's not clean. And this is the all-time payout per T-share average, which is 4.045 as of right now, or as of yesterday's crossover. And then the payout per T-share average for the past 28 days, 6.21. For the past 55 days is 6, right? So it's been a good 55 days on average. It's been even better 28 days on average, right? And then the payout per T-share on average is going up, right? And now what's interesting is how price.
I was wondering about that because I have been seeing the payout per T-share just like staying flat, and I'm like, is this the best that it was gonna ever get? And now it just started ramping up again.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's gonna change over time, right? It's gonna change with quantity of people interacting with the network, so it's gonna change. It's never gonna stay the same. And until more adoption happens, right, you are gonna have flat lines like that. And this
I think you and my bad to interrupt you. I think you and Gerardo should link up, yo.
We do it on occasion.
Yeah.
I mean, like with his website and stuff. Like, I would love to be able to hover over this and really look into it.
I'm actually building a website, so you'll have one soon enough. Yeah, because this data does have to go somewhere.
Yeah,
because this is important data. But
yeah, I like that. That's a good chart right there.
Yeah, it's cool because interestingly enough, Hex found a pretty permanent bottom right here, right? Like it couldn't go any lower than that payout for T-shirt average, and it's just scaled, right? Like it's just scaled. It's not manipulated. It's just what the price did. The only scaling is the fact that the price scale is a log scale, just to make it look proper, right? Because the movement has been pretty crazy, so you got to make sure it's visible and it doesn't look like this chart over here, like that. Hold on, that don't look right. Like it doesn't really look right. Like if I was to log this chart, it would all wrap around here or something, or find a support base too, just like this one did. Because value and price always are going to meet at some point, right? And this is literally value being generated over time. And that's the thing that people don't understand about Hex, because Hex is literally designed to build more crypto, to generate more crypto. That's it. And how does it do it? It does it by the interest rate that inflates on a yearly basis, right? Which is 3.69%. Every day the system does its division, and it pays the staker class that inflation, and it's deferred inflation across time.
What's this? A pump in Hex? A little mini pump? We're trying to break levels? We're just trying to break levels?
Is that right? Let's see.
Showing strength, man.
Oh, look at that, 13.9%. How about that? Nice. So this is the expiring shares chart, right? And you're going to have different dates across the top because it's a snapshot in time. And I usually do all these charts at the crossover. So what is this chart detailing? This is detailing the percent of stakes across the curve, the time curve for Hex, right? So at the front is always going to be the heaviest because people are always going to stake the shortest amount of time because, you know, most people aren't comfortable tying their money up for months on.
That wave, that's that infinite wave that you just can't get away from.
Correct. This is the 10-year mark that we always talk about, and how it's going to be basically, it's going to cause a massive price run up, right? Massive. I mean, 20% almost deferred 10 years ahead is pretty sizable, right? And here we have about 5 to 6% of the total shares, right? Deferred 15 years, right? So that's a big chunk of supply also deferred.
2030 gonna be popping. I'm looking at that and I'm saying that's a lot of
yes, sir,
stakes that's gonna just start it's not gonna come out, yo. I think the APY gonna start going up right there.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna go up now. It's going up now, but I think it's gonna take a ramping on that spot right there.
That's kind of what my forecast is. I'm thinking that whenever T-shares become truly deflationary to the point that Hex is going up in price faster than T-shares, then we are definitely going to see APY go higher because it's just going to become too expensive, and only so many people are going to be able to afford it, right? Like you're not going to be able to drive the rate down because you're not going to be able to stake as much, basically.
Right.
right?
Unless
So
you're ultra rich,
right,
it's gonna be hard to capture the amount
correct,
of hex you're gonna need to, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be rough. Yeah.
In theory, it should be crazy.
Right. So if you're looking at this chart, right, the first mark here, the 42% mark, is 42% of expiring shares is in July, and here we got about 37 of them in August, right? So that's a pretty big chunk. And we got another 16, 18% for September, right? And we just track that over time and see how it changes. So it dips a little bit for July, picks up a little bit for August. For September, it picks up a little bit. No big deal. That's the 20th. The 22nd, July drops a little bit, picked up a lot for August. Now we're almost even for August and July, right? So now we know that we're about to hit a transition point where the stakes might eventually, now this is today, this morning, they're still the same. Let's see if there's any change whatsoever. Nah, not much change between yesterday and today. So everything's pretty much staying the same, right? And people just playing their position, waiting for the month to roll out before they start ripping and dipping for the next month. Because that's how it happens. The stakes in the front month decrease, right? And then ultimately they augment the following month to at least 45, 48%. I think we might have hit 50% in July for like the first few days, but it wasn't permanent. And, we ultimately came back down. And again, right, the whole point is that, excuse me, the system is constantly determining what value is. And the interesting thing is that before, you didn't have these chunks of stakes even out this far. So the mentality is changing systemically, right? To the tune that even out here, you're seeing 20% in certain months, right? Like that's chunky, right? And this is changing across time, right? And people are changing their habits, right? Yeah. And that's what this chart is showing. And this is always going to change, right? It's never going to be constant. There's a lot of zeros in here. So it looks like the math doesn't even add up, but we forget how many zeros are in here, right? And a lot of these months don't have.
Dude, we need you to do a scatter plot over time with with 7/1/21 being, or like the date. I don't know how you do this, but you're going to basically need to make some kind of like a plot that you can plot this across the screen so that you can see over time the number of users that do short-term stakes, because that's going to grow and change and morph. Or like up to probably a 6-month window. There will be a ever evolving recurring stakes that just end, and they'll be your traders, your stake traders, so to speak, in quotes. Right. The guys that are trading large volume, huge stakes, and maybe they're peeling off the interest, and they're doing it every 90 days.
Yeah, I just saw that comment. 15-year stakes made a year ago only have 14 left. What do they mean by that?
1 year down, 14 to go.
Oh, got you.
A year just flew by and nobody really noticed.
That's the other cool thing about those 15-year stakes was just the notion that you basically
whoa.
Drop it like it's hot.
Shout out to Rockham. Thank you for
get a piece of that.
Too funny, man. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Shout out, man.
But I wanted to continue this talk about these 15-year stakes because, basically in 15 years, every year there will be 15-year stakes ending throughout the year.
Yep.
You'll want to be able to track that because those will be the big stakes that really ratchet up the price. So it'll be more even. You'll be able to more easily predict inflation rates and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, right? Hex is always going to have shares expiring, and that's always going to change over time because the system's dynamic. So that's going to be very difficult to track. You're going to have to essentially be able to grab a snapshot in time all the time, and that's pretty difficult to do.
Well, you got 15 years to think about it, so.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
How about you just work on the website for now?
Yeah, that's the easy part for now, right?
Dude, somebody here in chat actually offered to do some design for you.
Oh, is that right? Well, DM me at
I got dude. Or I told them they could DM me at on my Twitter too. Whatever's easier.
Yeah, whatever works. Anything works for me.
Cash Plus. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like I feel like we should have on Twitter or on Twitch. How you can do those we got to get some animations going or something here for you guys.
You guys are out of control with the super chats.
No kidding.
Thank you guys.
Hey,
Well,
Hex
you
took a
better go
little
on.
bump in price.
Yo, y'all better start
Well,
buying that
Bump
Hex. Buy that
Yeah,
Hex instead. Stop giving that shit
Hex
to
trying
me.
to get to 14 cent right now.
Is that right? Let's see.
It's at a little resistance. It's trying to make a swing high.
13.86. Okay. Let's take a look at the 60-minute chart. Oh, let me get this right. All right. Yeah, it's about to rip. Yep.
Trying to take out that little swing high right there.
It's about to. It's about to.
It's the Trevon bump.
There
why I
we
brought it up.
go. There we
It's the
go.
Trevon bump.
This is a
All right,
bump and run
let's
recovery.
get through these charts, man, so we don't keep you here longer than you need to be.
That's all
So
good.
this chart, Hex versus ETH, and Hex versus Bitcoin. These are the all-time correlations charts. So every data point that we can find for Hex is on this chart as far as the return goes versus Bitcoin and Ethereum since its existence, right? So this chart is tracking the return metrics for Hex, Bitcoin, and Ethereum respectively from day one of Hex moving forward, right? So if you look at the R squared is letting you know how strong the correlation is. And as you can see, it's 0.
So
Non-existent.
let me try and look at this.
First time I
All-time
looked at
Hex
this,
versus
I couldn't
ETH core.
fucking
This is
understand
this is
chart.
the big brain stuff right here.
Right.
All right. ETH returns. Yeah, you gotta explain this one.
All right.
Yeah,
So
explain this shit because I couldn't fucking figure this out the first time.
all right. So
What the fuck?
each plot is a return, right? And each plot is for X and Y, right? So it's plotting. Hex return here is like probably 69%, 70%. And the Ethereum return here is minus 22% or minus 24, right? That's what this is saying. In fact, let me do this just to make it even more obvious to those that might be new and watching. Let's make it supremely obvious. Add data label, add data call out. There we go. 65% versus 23% return. And that is your X and Y. So X is Hex on the X axis, right? And Y is Ethereum on the Y axis. And it's the same thing for Bitcoin versus Hex. Hex is on the X axis and Bitcoin is on the Y axis. Now, if the most important thing to catch here is that when you stare at Hex and its X axis and you look at the returns, right? They're primarily scattered on the right side of the 0 line, primarily, right? And that's visually like in your face, whether it's Hex or Bitcoin, right? That's a fact. You cannot deny it. You can go pull this data from anywhere and you're going to get the same result unless the data is altered, right? Like that's a fact. So what is this chart telling you? Now, if you look at another thing, if you look at the 0 line for Ethereum and for Bitcoin, you'll see that the returns for those respectively vary, right? They're not tight knit. They're very spread out. That's not what you want. As an investor, you want your returns to be skewed positively at all times, meaning you're not really losing money. You're always making it. And that's what Hex gives you, right? This is why Hex is superior. Like this is one of those charts that like shuts everything down because you cannot deny the data and the data only keeps improving. This over time wasn't always this close to 0. It used to be a little higher, right? But the more time that passes, the closer to 0 that this gets, meaning it's zeroing in even further on the fact that it is truly decentralized. It is truly crypto, right? And the rest of the space is just trying to be. That's very important. The data lets you know the truth. The data doesn't lie. People are always going to have a narrative, right? And that's why I don't pick one. I stick to the math. I had to literally explain this chart to somebody today. Long ass thread. They just weren't getting it. And I had to get through to them so they can understand that this is the market saying this is the real value here. This is how it works. And the market is going to reflect that. So let me explain this chart. Rolling correlations, right? This is the dollar cost of T shares versus Hex. This is what this value is giving us, the correlation. So I'm tracking 21 days, 34 days, and 55 days, right? So the longer the relationship or the longer the track, the harder it is to get a value this high. And the reason being is for a relationship to stay that long, to stay that strong for that long, it has to be true. it cannot be a lie. It has to be true. So what does a correlation of 99.97% means? It means it's almost 1. And what that means is that they pretty much move in tandem. So if the dollar cost of Hex goes down, then the dollar cost of a T-shirt probably went down. If the dollar cost of Hex goes up, then the dollar cost of a T-shirt probably went up. But here's the thing. 2 important things to remember. The dollar cost of a T-share are a function of 2 things. The Hex rate, right? The Hex T-share rate, which is systemic, right? The system gives us that based on the end stakes, right? That's important. Number 2, the fiat cost is based on what the system is doing or what the world is doing, right? The US dollar, whatever fiat you're using. And 3, this is the final item that's critically important. The price of Hex is determined by the market because it's entirely decentralized. So if a correlation can be this strong and this would be really decentralized, which it is, then clearly you can't lose when you buy Hex. And this is what this correlation is telling you. And price has gone, right? Once the correlation went to 100% positive across the board, across all time frames, it's gone from 3 cents to 12 cents right now, 4x. You can't deny the math. Does that all make sense? It's just kind of crazy.
Burley,
again, this is just proven. Yeah,
nah,
this bitch is 100%.
I'm sure it means that it's awesome. I'm gonna take your word for it. I'll probably watch it back. I'll probably watch it back a couple times and get it.
All right. So basically, the closer this is to 1, the stronger the relationship is between the dollar cost of a T-share and the price of Hex. Right? We know that the T-share rate is always going to go up. So in essence, the dollar cost of a T-share should also go up. But we can't control the cost of a T-share because we can't control the value of the fiat that we use. Right? And the system is always going to ratchet up the Hex.
We can control the cost of a T-share because it's only denominated in Hex. So we can force that system to only ratchet up. That's the point.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, in terms of right, that's what I mean. Right, that's what I mean. In terms of how we interact.
That's significant, though, and that's
yeah.
Anyone new here, that's part of the system. That's a key. That's a key to why this thing works the way it does.
Right.
All right, about to get out of here, man. Hey, keep it going, man. Keep it going. I'm gonna watch it back.
All right, brother. I got you. I'll keep running through the truck.
Appreciate having me on, bro.
Hey, thank you for coming on, brother. For sure, man. Appreciate your time today, brother. Thank you.
Peace, bro.
Peace.
Brother.
All right, so we'll wrap these charts up for you guys, and we'll keep this party going. So if you guys got any questions on this chart and how I explain it, definitely let me know because I know it's a little bit. I know it's not a lot, at least to me. So definitely let me know if you got questions because basically if this is going to 1, then the price of Hex should pretty much move in tandem with the dollar cost of a T-share. And as we know, the dollar cost of a T-share is going to always be going up because the number of Hex required is always going to be going up. And that's ultimately the key there. Not even so much the cost of Hex, but more so the quantity of Hex required. Excuse me. I think I just said retired. All right. So this chart is the go get 'em
retiring on me already, bro.
Yeah, right.
Damn, we ain't even halfway through these charts yet.
Right. No, we're actually almost done. This chart is showing the price of Hex at 13.
Damn, that came down a lot up there by the green line.
Right. Yeah. Almost. Right. It's pretty cool. So when we look at the payout for T-share in dollar terms is with respect to the 5.833 Hex that were paid out last night, multiplied by the dollar cost of Hex, right? And what we get the adjusted Hex value is just merely the sum of these 2 values, which gives us 92 cents rounding up. And in essence, these yellow and pink lines are just leading indicators because if you look at the orange line versus the yellow and the pink line, the orange line ultimately tracks where the pink and yellow lines were. So, yeah, we're going to end up going here eventually, whether you like it or not. Sorry. And here we have the Hex price of earnings chart, which is detailing a 17.14% cost in terms of value at this time versus an all-time low for the S&P 500's price to earnings ratio of 551%. And here what this is letting us know is that we're somewhere around here, and we're kind of almost escaping this. And once we do, prices that we couldn't imagine are going to be real because the market doesn't care. The market just markets, and that's what people have to understand. And now, what we're talking about here is the APY that the system generates, right? And as we saw earlier, it was like 38% something. I can't remember exactly. It was almost 39%. But long story short, the staking percentage is 9.5 or so, right? So it's going to be in between 9 and 10%, which is true. And the fact of the matter is that the more people that are staked, the higher the APY, or the lower the APY, and the less people that stake, the higher the APY. Right. This is why the other day we saw a 62.5% payout, but yet the staking percentage was not 6%; it was actually 9.5%. Right, and that's why. Okay. So I hope that makes some sense to people. If there's any questions, definitely let me know, guys. That's pretty much it as far as the charts go. So if there's anything else you guys want me to go over, definitely let me know now. How price will eventually accelerate. Okay. I see some questions in the chat. Let's go to them one by one. T-share years outperform. Yes, this is a true story. Let's see. Yes, there is a moment where I get it now. Yes. All right. So this question, please explain how price will eventually accelerate. So how price eventually accelerates is literally going to be a function of human psychology, right? Because people pay for what they want to pay for. And unfortunately, people don't like to pay low prices for things. They actually like to pay high prices for things. Don't know why, but that's the way it is. And that's why every chart here pretty much looks the same, where it starts out looking kind of flat, right? Every chart either goes down or looks kind of flat. And then ultimately it picks back up and it looks like this, right? And in case you're new and you don't know, oh, look at that. 1.39 or 13.9 cents. So good job, market. Price for Hex has been accelerating since Big Payday. So, yeah, I'm not sure how much more acceleration you're expecting, but it's going to continue to do that. And it's going to be a function of the T shares and how they affect their inflationary aspect on the system, as well as how people actually determine what they're going to be buying, right? Like, are they going to be buying Hex or something else, right? So that's how price actually functions. Let's see if we got any other questions. All right, that's what's up, Benny Bills. Glad to hear that I was a part of that process. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's my goal, man. I would love for everybody to be able to explain this as easily as I feel I'm explaining it. And yeah, shout out to Trey for coming through, man. Appreciate the homie. Much respect because he's out there grinding. Peace to him for sure. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Interesting, because that's I highlighted this earlier, and some people just do definitely say that. Yeah, it should be. Damn it, it should be. Let's see. All right, so it doesn't look like we got any more questions. We'll wrap this up. We'll talk a little bit about price of Hex. We'll look at what's going on with the post-chain launch, right? We'll see where the dollars are in terms of the sacrifice. Let's see. Because this tracks the actual value. What's up?
I'm just looking at this GIF that Crypto Gains posted this GIF of Trey doing the the Richard Hart Rocket Moon thing.
Yeah, everybody loves that one. That's my favorite one. $625 million sacrificed so far, which is pretty outstanding, all considering I didn't really expect 500 million. So much for that, right? And that's why everybody's preconceived notions are irrelevant. Let's check how much. Let's check what the quantity of Hex sacrifice is so far. At current prices, we got $401.8 million worth of Hex sacrificed, and in total quantity, we almost got 3 billion. We're not far from it. We'll probably hit it tomorrow. 2.8 Oh shit, hold on, guys. 2.891 billion hex sacked so far, which is pretty phenomenal because that's permanent supply removed from the market, right? Which is critical to understanding what the future could look like, right? And so far, wow, we got almost 0.5% of hex removed from the market supply. That shit is wild, right? That shit is wild, man. It's crazy.
Dang.
Because
That's nuts.
that's a whole lot of supply that just ain't coming back, man. And as of now, we got a 38.1 APY, and the estimated payout per t-shirt today is 5.77685. And as you guys know, I don't really like to rely on that because the day isn't over, so we know that's going to change. We still have about 6 hours before the rollover, so that number is more than likely going to change. Probably going to inflate a little bit if we're lucky, right? And look, as we can see, the sacrifice portion of the pie is finally showing up. It wasn't showing up for a while. Maybe I wasn't seeing it, but it's showing up now. And it wasn't showing up before. So, yeah, that's a big chunk of supply that's just gone. 60.63 billion hex. This number used to be higher. So we can hypothesize that a portion of that is coming to here. And this number used to be higher, and we can hypothesize that this used to be 573 billion hex. And we're now down to 571, rounding up. And here we have 2.89 billion. So, yeah, man, these numbers are pumping, guys. And the market it's going to learn the hard way that math doesn't care about what you think. It's just math. So here we got 60 million on USD on V2. And we got, what's that? 81 plus 85 million still. So there we go.
Yo, pull up the V3 Uniswap liquidity pool thing chart. That's what's up. Looks the same.
Yep. Numbers changed. I checked it earlier. All the numbers are pretty much the same.
So there's a little bit of selling going on at like, what is that, like 17 cents or something? Where that wall is?
Yeah, this wall starts from 14.8. It used to be fifth. No, it was 14.
You know how much all that is? A couple $1 million worth of sell wall or something?
No, it's higher than that. I did the math yesterday. Fuck, I closed it.
Roughly? Is it more than 10 million?
No, it's less than 10.
That's okay.
Yeah, it was about. I want to say.
All right, I'll send the boys out. I'll send the boys out on it, and it's all good, dude.
6.5 to 8, or maybe it was not. It was 9.4 million. Yeah,
damn.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. Like.
Oh, you came in high, but right under my mark, so I think we.
Yeah, no, it's either 9.5, it's 6.5 to 9, something like that. But it's not a lot. Like it's not a lot. Like we get that easily. So
yeah,
you know, it's not.
Yeah, we do 50 million a day in volume.
Yeah, exactly. So all that has to happen is a wrong move has to set off the market, and that's it. They're toast, right?
Yeah.
That's literally all that has to happen. And this is a DEX, right? Like this doesn't trade on an exchange, so there's not going to be anything to save this individual. And they're gonna learn a hard lesson, man. Like I've seen this happen before, and we've seen it, right? Like if we look at where is this? Let's take a look at this. Is where these charts come from, right? This is where these charts come from, so you guys can understand what I'm talking about when I say they're gonna pay a price. How the hell does something go from $2 to 15, right? And how much time? Let's see. Okay, how does something go up 1,000% in 22 days? Right?
It just prints.
Right. But that's what I'm talking about, right? Like how does something do that? Right? It doesn't just do that, right? Like there has to be a reason for it, and this is what I'm talking about, right? So if this person, this entity, whatever, isn't careful, right? You have all these orders, and we're already touching these orders, right? We're already touching the wall. So we're already at level 1, and as you can see, this has already been reduced. This is lower. The red line is lower than even the
To
lowest.
me, let's see. I'm gonna pull up like the RSI on the 15-minute just went up to like
Yeah, this is about to
70.
rip, bro. This is about to rip. This is about to rip. Like the
Maybe.
only thing it has to do is get through
Second.
15, and that's it. It's gonna be problems.
So what time for 6 hour or something?
Hourly.
Hourly? Yeah, because
This
it
is
moves
what I'm
so
looking
quick.
at. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, we're above 55 on here. Yeah, this
exactly.
is looking juicy.
Right. So check this out. Where is this? So the thing about it is this, right? We are already looking at a quantity of hex that's below the lowest quantity of the cell wall over here, right? So we're already eating into whatever this size was because these were equivalent. All three of these 360, and there's only what's here. What? Why is it not showing the amount? I guess because his min market is not showing the quantity. Let me hold on. Give me a second.
They all look like 360-ish.
But yeah, it's gonna be less than 360 because this is 360 plus, right? So we know it's gonna be less than that, and it's gonna be less than 350, right? So we're already eating into this candle, right? Or this bar, this quantity, this histogram that we're looking at right here. So what is price doing right now, right? Price right now is battling through. Right now, if you go down to the 15, you're probably gonna see some red. Okay, maybe not. So right now we're trying to battle through, right? This, and you can't. I don't think you can
That's
get
3.2 million, 3.24 million for that first bar.
Yeah, you
First
can't
level.
get volume profile on here. It's fine. But yeah, so basically, Hex has to find a way to get through here, like all of this, right? Hex has to get, and it looks like a lot, right? But that's because we're looking at a 16-minute chart. Or a 15-minute chart, when you look at a 60-minute chart, that's just clearly all that has to go to clear our resistance, and then again, and then that's it, right? So, and if we look at a 240-minute chart, it also looks very bullish, like extremely bullish, right? So what's just happened? If we look at the 60-minute chart, we just merely had a downtrend that we broken out of. That's what this is right here. And just to draw it up for people, this is ugly. Why does it do this? All right. Okay. All right. I'm sorry, but I can't see with this damn cursor over this shit. All right. There we go. Killing me, man.
Kill me, Smalls.
Yeah, seriously. Jesus. So, all right, so then we had this little downdraft, right? This little downdraft. And normally what you really want to do is you want to look at lines for trends. You don't really want to look at the candles.
These dips are so pathetic.
Yeah, they are pathetic, man. They really are. So ultimately, it was just like a mini wedge. It was just like a mini wedge.
It feels
right?
like straight up.
Like it was just like a mini wedge. It wasn't anything serious, and prices ticked up. So whatever. So it's just something that I had, again, this wasn't a real down move, right? Like that was a function of all the EESs that we've been seeing in the system and whatnot. And now the market is going to do is ate up the supply and it's going to keep doing what it does. And that's how Hex works, right? So now the next obstacle is just clearing out the supply here. And that's
Total
just
dogs.
Oh, I'm not looking in the chat. I'm sorry, guys.
It's
I'm not in
funny.
the chat. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at this here.
He's doing all the work while I get to have fun.
Yeah, actually.
God damn it.
Yeah,
Goddamn
actually,
kid.
it is for the black people. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Anything else you want to talk about? I was talking about this chart earlier, bro. This is that shit.
I know, but somebody asked if we're in the chart, so I figured why not go over it one more time, see if anything changed. Looks like we're just chewing through that level. That's about $3.2 million there to get to the big sell wall. So
Yep, pretty much it.
if you got 3.2 million to Chuck, I'll help you when we get to the sell wall.
Please, Chuck, I'm at it. Go ahead. Oh man, yep. That's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it, right? It's about
Bye promise
defining.
coins. Bye.
It's just about defining, what is real and what is not, what's really crypto, what's really not. And the space right now has been confused for a long time about what is crypto and what is not. And, the hexing community are going to be the folks that help them understand what is a crypto and what is not. I mean, it's right there on the Bitcoin white paper. Literally, the abstract, just read it. That's literally the definition, peer-to-peer cash, right? Like that's what it's supposed to be. And that's not what we have today. What we have today is a bunch of centralized trash that feign to be cryptocurrencies, but are just really promise coins that are not doing what crypto was invented to do. So it's tough. It's tough. And this is correct. We are crypto. Everybody else is just, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're doing something. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I don't really have much else. We went through the charts. We don't, I don't know if you guys want to talk about anything else. I plan to stream on Saturday to talk about, I can't even remember what at this point in time, but it was something that hit my mind this morning that's worthy of a single stream on Saturday. Hold on, because I think I told you.
Yo, dude, I forgot to tell you this cool story today. I was at the gym and I was talking to this person, and the person told me that they knew somebody that made like hundreds of thousands of dollars on Hex.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Small world, bro.
Like, what the hell?
So check it out, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stream specifically on unit bias. Right? So people need to understand unit bias and what that means and how that affects price and why that's important. Because there's a reason there's so many people that are now millionaires in Hex. And that's literally a function of unit bias because you were around in the beginning, right? So you could buy millions of Hex, right? And now Hex is becoming normalized to the point where it's no longer out there in the millions, right? Like that's a moment in time. And that's something that people have to understand. And Pulse is going to be no different. And that's why I'm going to do a stream specifically about unit bias so people can understand that. Become comfortable with the idea of trillions of coins because Hex is designed to do just that. It's just doing it in reverse. It's not coming out with a trillion coins, but Hex is designed by bonding curve token, right? Like it's a bonding curve token. So what's a bonding curve token? I'll go into that. So tune in on Saturday. It'll be about that. And Sunday, I'll probably do a macro stream because there's a whole lot of crap going on that side of things. So there's always a lot to talk about. And as you guys know, I like to keep you guys abreast of what's going on. So Saturday and Sunday, we'll try to get something done. If you want to join me, let me know. Not sure when exactly Saturday, probably sometime Saturday afternoon, probably 5:30, the earliest. If not later than that, because people are out and about on Saturdays, and I don't really want people to be staying in because of me or anything like that. So probably later on, or if you prefer early, I mean, let me know. I don't know. I can't go until like after 1 or 2. So, you guys just let me know. I'm pliable. I'm just trying to educate people on what's going on. And that's it, right? Like Richard can't do everything himself, right? We all need some help. And we're all here to provide that help to each other in any which way you can, right? And that's what it's all about. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to Trevon for joining and spending some time with me this afternoon. Thank you to Access for coming through, even though we know that man wakes up at the crack of dawn every day. And thank everybody for tuning in, man. It's always a pleasure, man. It's always a pleasure to stream for everybody. Everybody's always engaging.
Thank you for the super chats. Those were awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys for
more than enough.
Yeah, the super chats were crazy. Like, wow, what the hell? Buy Hex instead, pump our bags. Don't pump
them
mine,
bags, baby. They already are, brother. They already are.
But thank you guys, seriously. All the love and the appreciation. I respect it. I'm honored by it. Not humbled, but honored. It's two different things. You guys empower me to continue to do what I do. And, shout out to everybody. And thank you for being receptive to my brute way of being and appreciating the quality of the content that I'm sharing, because it's not easy, right? It's not easy to share the truth. It's not easy to be a Hexagon, right? It's not easy to see things as they are. And it's hard, right? This is a hard life to live. And this is what Trevon was talking about too, right? He's like, you guys just chill out. Like, we know we got it type shit, right? But when you got it and everybody's telling you don't, it's kind of hard to shut the fuck up. So I get it, right? And we just got to, learn to be better. And that's all, right? We just got to learn to be classier, and that's really all it is, right? We just got to realize we are the cream of the crop and they have to bow down to us. And that's really all it is. So, we're crypto. They're still figuring it out. And let's have a nice Friday afternoon or Friday night or Friday morning or Saturday morning, depending on where you're at. And thank you guys for tuning in. It's been great. And Axis, shill yourself, bro.
Shill myself. Working on a YouTube channel. I do a little bit of design. Building the new shit miner. But now, if you want to find me at twitter.com/AxisAlive, probably find me there.
There you go.
Beyond that, yeah, mostly just on Whale streams on Sundays. So, thank you. It's a pleasure always being on talking about this stuff because it's fascinating and there's always something to talk about. Hex is awesome.
That's it, baby. That's it. So, guys, you guys know youtube.com/Whalesonly. If you're new, subscribe. If you're new, follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Whalesonly1. Hold on. Like you see it on the stream now. Let me put it like that. Whalesonly1 on Twitter. On Telegram is t.me/Whalesonly. And that's pretty much it. I'm working on a website so we can make these charts live for people. So that's coming, and that's pretty much all I got. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I appreciate you guys appreciating what I got to talk about, and for taking it seriously because it is serious. And you guys have a good rest of your day, man. Thank you again. Peace.